How's everyone going tonight? Um, I'm actually a little bit early. I don't know that I've ever gone live. Only seconds before 10:30, but a few seconds before. I've been too late too many times lately. I figured I'd give you 5 extra seconds. Um, Tonight's plan, as you see the thumbnail. Pretty funny moment earlier today in a live stream that I will show a clip of. I do have express written consent to share some fellow friends in the community their recent videos, their recent live streams that they had on the topic of card alteration. I thought about doing a video the way that I am. Like, the time to do it was recently, all the Kurt's card care, all that news, all the PSA updates and stuff, but I thought about doing a video, but I have my next two lined up, and I don't want to push it out like 3 weeks. I figure let's just do it with my weekly live. I actually have an amazing collection too. I'm gonna do best to not dox myself. I'm gonna be showing my phone a little bit. I guess I can do I'm gonna do my best to not have I'm just gonna put my phone in airplane mode, I guess, so that nothing comes through. As I say that, DMs come actually through. But yeah, let me see. I have, so yeah, two distinct parts. First will be card altering. It will be talking about like what, in my opinion, is something that needs to be more well defined. Like, not only more well defined, I think it's not remotely defined in this space, and I'll actually show you with examples of other analogous spaces. Shout out to Pokemon Classics. I actually linked 3 distinct videos that I will be referencing. I will only show a clip from PK's live with Nat Turner. There was an interesting interaction where Nat Turner took one of my comments the wrong way. I actually, I have that clipped, and then I have like a couple comments, my own comment that was referenced by that, and then I have one that was mentioned by like PokeSun. So shout out to PokeSun TCG. Shout out her S&P podcast. Poke S&P podcast. I'm like, I know it's not just S&P podcast. Poke S&P podcast. But I also have linked in the description. Let me remember. He had Dan in the name. Shout out to another Dan. I do have a video from PK, Pokemon Knowledge, Pokemon Classics, and Dan the Card Man. I've never seen the content before, but he had a video, and I'm just gonna share. So I'm gonna share multiple things tonight. I'm gonna share what is my understanding. What is my understanding of it? What is allowed? What is not allowed? And I think I have a pretty good. I know I have a firm grasp on certain things. There is some black and there is some white, but not everything is 0 and 1. Not everything is binary. There's a lot of gray area. As always, I will bring the nuance. I will live in the gray area. I will live on the fence. I'm not even gonna live on the fence. I'm gonna say, like, I don't even know where the fence is. If I knew where the fence was, I would be sitting on it. I don't even know where the fence is. That's what part of this is. So part of this is like, I am not trying to do like a gotcha to Nat Turner or to PSA. I've long been critical of large in industry leaders in the hobby. PSA. I mean, I've made videos kind of calling out to an extent PSA, CGC, BGS to be better, to do better. I've called out eBay, PWCC, Heritage, Golden. I've called out pretty much every company that I care about. If I haven't called out a company, it's probably because I don't care about them at all, and I don't follow them. There's that funny Scrubs gif that I share sometimes. I don't dislike you, I nothing you. There are so many companies, there are so many things that I just nothing. I don't follow their content. I am going to talk about all this because I actually care about the community in which I do business. I actually care about Pokemon cards. Most Pokemon cards, I mean, the market values more than I do. That's why I do business in it more than I actually collect these days. Things like this that are a lot cheaper, a lot easier to justify collecting, at least for me. I forgot to clean up the mess in the background. I have some slabs behind me in packs. But, yeah, so let me mute my music so I can share the thing soon without my music coming through and getting me banned by eBay. Let me, let me go over some of the comments really quick just to make sure I have my comment picker enabled properly. Pisses off CEO of PSA. Perfect for that next thumbnail. Yeah, I think and this is all going to be my understanding, my opinions, all that stuff, all that blah blah disclaimers that I always have to give. I think what happened was he misconstrued what I was saying, and I mean I'm glad it made Brad's day. I'm glad some people seem to be pretty happy. I was getting cooked in the comments. Pretty funny, interaction, and I guess it led to something here. Why is my highlighted message not coming? I'm gonna try to get the highlighted message to come through, but I'm not seeing it right now, unfortunately. Maybe on this screen, actually. Yes. So I guess I can't be on the zoomed in one. I have to be on this zoomed out one. Will it actually work on my 2cam one? But yeah, there's one of the videos that I'll have put up in a minute, but unfortunately the highlighted comment, why is it not working? It looks like it's not working. Or it's just in the wrong spot, or it's on the wrong layer. So yeah, let me move this up some. Sorry, I'm not completely set up, I guess. Apparently that highlighted comment is not coming through. Oh, there it is. Okay. So yeah, I think I'm set up as I should have been. But yeah, funny interaction with the PSA CEO on PK's podcast. I meant no disrespect. I generally was trying to add good discourse to the live conversation. I was not trying to troll in PK's chat. It was great that he had Nat Turner on. I hope he can continue to get Nat Turner on. I mean, it says a lot about Nat that he will actually come on and engage with relative to other channels. Like I've seen him on Sports Card Investor. I've seen him on some big channels too. I've actually followed a lot of his content. Find it really interesting to get like the inside look at what's going on at PSA. I was not trying to like, and we got right here. We got right here, Dan on full damage control, trying to keep his dad from pulling out of the pallet. I think there's genuinely a good conversation here. That's what I'm doing tonight. I'm not on damage control. I'm not mad at Nat. I don't think Nat's mad at me. But yeah, let's see. We got Sky, we got Wealth Pupil, we got Basic Trainer, Allison Silverland, we got Jacob Gordon. Still salty about the Nat Turner call out. Hey everyone. So we'll talk about this in a little bit. I'm trying to do my intro. I'm 8 minutes in and I've talked about almost nothing. PSA about to ban Dan 2. I was dying laughing. Here we go. But yeah, I have a really cool collection to show afterwards too. I guess let me very briefly tease the collection. It is I guess I'll show. Where is everything? Get rid of Chrome. Rid of browser. There it is. So it not seeing much right there, but I do have the collector app. So I bought a collection based off this collector value. I paid about 70%. It was actually a little bit more than this. I paid 70%, so I paid about $22,000. It is an entire master set. Every set, every specialty set, every promo, Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon, everything. So we'll go through that later. That's going to be like the end, pulling out graders. I'm pretty much just going to go like top down. So for anyone unfamiliar, this is the collector app. It basically shows like the value of the cards top down. Let me see if I can do it. I wish I could look at it instead of in like picture way, just be able to see it as a list. But anyways, we're going to go top down. We're going to start looking at cards, start vetting condition and seeing which ones we're going to send to PSA for grading. I mean, we're not going to be altering cards tonight. That's going to be an entirely different conversation. But yeah, let me get my well, let me finish going through chat, get caught up to live, and then I'll go through the clip and all that. Thank God PK had subscriber mode on. Nat would have roasted me like he did. You did. That's funny. A whole live of Dan being cute is what I'm here for. He didn't call me dumb. He said don't be dumb, but he did say someone trying to be cute too. So I was being dumb trying to be cute. He didn't say I was cute. He said I was trying to be cute. So Dan needs a fence in the background. Is a fence a chemical? Fences are sharp. Oh god. Yeah, this is gonna go off the rails by the end of it. I can feel it. I'm gonna try catching up. A billionaire calls you out, and this is the response. 2-0 Nat Turner. Dan, but everything is chemicals. Nat. The All Art collection is entirely raw. It's an entire master set raw of every Sun and Moon, every Sword and Shield set, start to finish. Nat owns you all collectibles. We're gonna have some good memeing in chat. Dan, tomatoes are technically a fruit collectible. Shout out to Retro on that. That one was a good one. He dropped in Discord on me. He didn't misconstrue nothing. It was all facts. You got dis, Dan. Got cooked without delay. Don't get cute collectibles. Good memes. Good memes being born from it. I'm always down for a good meme. Dan, why isn't my PSA password working collectibles? Oh, man. Oh, you gotta love it. I left some spice behind for this. I hope it's worth it. I hope it's worth it for you, too. My favorite part was Dan baiting a billionaire, getting called out, and then saying it wasn't towards me. He misunderstood. Question for Dear Dan. How did you become an engineer with so little brain cell activity? Let's see. Dan paying 70% now, shaking my head. Dan already cut him down 10%. So the reason I paid 70% on this specifically is because it's not all alt arts. It's not all cards above, like usually cards above $50, I'll go 80%. But this is literally all the regulars, all the reverse hollows. There are two monster boxes next to me. Not monster, but the foro. There's two foros next to me of all the like non-chase cards. These three things that I showed here, these are all like the chase cards. And then my phone, because we're going to look at the collector app some. So these are all just the chase cards. It's crazy. 2 eras worth of chase cards right there, ready to go. So yeah, we're almost to where I play the clip, the infamous clip. You pay now a consulting fee for advising you to not be dumb. I got big value. I mean, to get a one-on-one with a billionaire who advises you to not be dumb, that had to be at least $100 worth of value dropped on me for his time there. Will you sell your non-gradables at 90%? One thing I'll probably do for anyone who has interest, if anyone has interest in forward and reverse sets of like the regular set, so nothing in the full arts, nothing in the alt arts, nothing in the trainer galleries, just like the core set of, it will have the V's, it will have anything included in the bulk of the set. It just won't have everything at the back end of a set. If anyone has interest in those, like I don't know what to do with them. I'm not going to piece them out one by one, 5-cent, 10-cent cards on TCG Player. So if anyone wants like complete sets, less all the chases, that'll be a thing, I guess, if anyone wants that. But I actually had so much to do tonight because I had so many. I didn't even tell my wife. Probably tomorrow she'll hear about, unless she's listening to it right now. She'll learn about it right now. But I didn't even tell her about this because it would have been too long of a story. But yeah, let me pull up the let's see. So I think I'm sharing my audio with you. You guys will have to let me know if this actually works. I hope it does. Browser, we should be getting. So this was the stream, and let me first show too. Let me first show my my comment. That is not the comment. That is something else right there. So my comment was, so context. They were talking about the Wembanyama, 1-of-1 card that somewhere in the social media sphere, whoever graded that, whoever was at PSA headquarters with that Wembanyama 1-of-1, they shouted out Kurt's card care within a video, within a reel, within a short, a TikTok, whatever it was, I don't know. But they shouted out Kurt's card care. So it kind of caused a big hubbub. What Nat is saying, I've heard some clarification. I don't know the full story. Nat is saying that they used a microfiber cloth to wipe away a fingerprint on the Wembanyama 1-of-1, which we'll get into the nuances of that. We'll get into all that conversation within this live stream on what's okay and what's not okay, as far as what we've heard from PSA. And we will also get into like what I'm unsure of as of today. And we'll hear in this comment. Let me just play the clip now. So context was, I was saying it's actually hard to draw a line because they started talking about chemicals. One thing that people will throw out, and maybe this is just like the whole actually meme. I got hit with a lot of actuallys in the actually a tomato is a fruit, blah, blah, blah. I got hit with a lot of actuallys in Discord. I used to be a chemical engineer. So when people throw around the word like chemical, if you make a policy as PSA, as CGC, as BGS, this is not PSA centric. This is the responsibility of all of our businesses in the industry to define what is okay and what is not okay. And then it is our responsibility to abide by those rules, or to accept those rules, reject those rules, get those rules changed, whatever makes the most sense. Because as I will show you later, there is precedent in other very adjacent industries. And I'll talk about Pokemon Classics video, as I mentioned. There is precedent where a lot of this is okay in other things like comics, like coins. And I'll actually show you. But we'll get to that. So here's the context. They were talking about chemicals, and I'm like, you can't have a policy of no chemicals allowed, because actually meme, water's a chemical. Spit is a chemical. You can't say no chemicals. Like, you need to have a succinct rule that says what you can and can't do, and then we'll follow it. But I don't think that exists. So if anyone has a link to PSA's policy, if anyone has a link to CGC's policy, BGS's policy, where they're actually like succinct and they actually like, can you read a succinct statement on any one of these companies' policies, and then you actually know the answers to these questions? Because I'm left without knowing the answers to some of these questions that I'll get to in a little bit. But anyways, let's roll the tape. So he read my comment, and then immediately this clip is going to start where he starts the roast.
By the way, I see this guy in the chat. Like, let's not get cute with words. Wax, foreign substances. Yeah, sure, water is a chemical, but don't be dumb. Like, that's not that's not what we're talking. Everyone knows what we're talking.
Let me say before I run the whole clip, I did get express written consent via text message from PK to play clips, and I did get express written consent on Instagram from Pokemon Classics to show stills from his video.
We're talking about chemicals. We're talking about wax. We're talking about stain removals, things that are that are clear foreign substances that are not natural in a cardboard setting.
Already a couple of the things that he said. He said, we're not talking about water spit, and I'm not trying to like nitpick some people will say this is just semantics. Semantics are important. My voice just cracked out a little bit. So semantics are important. Semantics are like literally what is allowed, what is not allowed. When you say chemicals aren't allowed, technically, actually, by definition, water is a chemical. These things are chemicals. Two things that he just said. One, he said chemical again after saying like water spit. He said chemical again, which doesn't mean anything. Everything is a chemical. It doesn't mean anything. We need more specific things than that. Another thing he said is natural. Spit and water are natural. I'm on the same page. Kurt's Card Care claims, and I will give you this disclaimer, this honest disclaimer. I have never owned Kurt's Card Care. I've never used Kurt's Card Care. I will tell you in a little bit how I disagree with the use of waxes and things like Kurt's Card Care, depending on what they are. Like I genuinely don't know what's in Kurt's Card Care, so I wouldn't use it. But let's continue on.
It's a very easy line to draw, and
it's a very easy line to draw. I disagree heartily for some of the things that I'll get into later in this live stream.
The problem for us is a lot of the stuff is hard to detect. We try.
That's one thing that ultimately, if the companies can't detect it, one thing that like humanity will do, it's a certainty. It's a fundamental certainty. One thing humanity will do, if there is a line, people will test that line. Whether it's a law, whether it's a moral or ethical boundary, especially if there's money on the other side of that line, people will test that line. You need to firmly and confidently draw that line, and ideally you need to be able to enforce it. So one game that I play, Old Skool RuneScape, I talk about it all the time. They say that certain behaviors are illegal. Certain behaviors are not allowed. Botting is one of them. Bots are rampant because they can't detect it. So RuneScape puts this line in the sand. They very arbitrarily enforce it, and they do a lot of false bans on people that are legitimate. One thing that like is concerning is how are they going to know whether I use spit or water, which they say is fine, or if I use Kurt's Card Care, whether it's isopropyl alcohol, whether it's whatever it is, some kind of a solvent that leaves no trace. Like, hopefully, I mean, in RuneScape, false positives are some amount of a thing. False negatives, too. I mean, this Kurt's Card Care guy, I did a little bit of research, like, coming to this live stream. He claims to have done, like, tens of thousands of cards he submitted through his same methods over the past several years. And there's been a couple, which I'll show from Dan, whatever his name was, linked in the description below. The Dan sports card guy. He has a video where the guy like full on dunks a card in some solvent. You can see the solvent bubbling. He takes it out, he dries it, and then he submits it. That was done on video. PSA graded it, authenticated it, encapsulated it, and then later when the video came out, when the video got tagged, whatever, they deactivated it. So the concerning thing is like, if they don't catch it, how many have already been affected? All these concerns, I agree. We don't know what the long-term effects of these things will be. I agree. There's got to be some line. I just don't know where it should be drawn. I've always used a huff of like warm breath, a little bit of humidity, maybe a Q-tip with a little bit of water on it. I've never used a solvent. I've never used anything like that. I've always abided by Nat's water and spit rule. But like, that's so... Is that full stop the line? Because it just feels too feels too arbitrary. It feels too arbitrary, and I don't know. I guess we'll continue on here.
Try our best. We're working on mechanisms to detect it better. We have some really cool things that are working in the lab, if you will. A lot of these cards people send in, the cards are still wet, or you can smell the wax on the card. You know, so there's some pretty easy ones to detect. The batch of order, the order of the batch of cards we deactivated the other day kind of fell in that category. But you know, we're doing our best.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's, I guess, the most everyone.
And props to them for putting in like research. I'm assuming some amount of R&D work is going into this. Like, I think the comment was taken by him as like, okay, this guy who I have no idea who he is, Catch 'em all collectibles in chat. I presume that he thinks that I was saying like, hey, because this is one of the arguments that people that use Kurt's Card Care use. Water and spit are chemicals, therefore I can use any chemicals. I'm not trying to make that argument. That is not the argument I'm making. The argument I'm making is semantics are important, and we need a clear and definitive statement on what is allowed and what is not allowed. If that, like, full stop, if that's the statement, which I've never seen that anywhere. Maybe it literally is on like the terms when you submit. Like, let me know if anyone in chat can fact check that quickly. Does it say when you submit a Pokemon card you are allowed to use water and spit? You are not allowed to use any other solvent, any other, like, if that's the full policy and that's written somewhere, I mean, I guess that's fine enough. I feel like spit, and this is where the chemical engineer in me comes out. Spit would leave more residue than isopropyl alcohol. Spit would leave, like, just chemically, fundamentally, the way that like isopropyl alcohol works, its boiling point, I mean, it's all going to evaporate. It's going to be gone. Where I used to work, we used to clean a lot of our equipment, a lot of our high-end, very fancy, very scientific, like, very high purity processes. We used to clean them with isopropyl alcohol because it would leave no trace, it would leave no residue, and it wouldn't be a problem in our processes. So if you say that spit is allowed, spit is just so much more likely to contain foreign substances that who knows what effect they'll have on a card. So I do we need the red lights? I just saw that one. I probably should go red light, but let me go red light. To me, it's all about just having an actual standard. Let me know what the rules are, and then I'll abide by them. Spit and water is all I've ever used, so if that's the rule, I've always abided by that. I will always continue to abide by that. There are so many of these cards out there. It's like, don't alter. These days, I'm hardly even dealing in as much WotC. I'm more dealing in alt arts and things like that to just get easy 10s anyways. Let me see if I can find my thing to go red light. Here we go. We're red light now. We're red light. A little bit late, but we're red light. So let me catch up on chat a little bit. There's gonna be a lot of memeing. Hello, I was at that PK live with Nat. Thank you for the laughs when he called your message out. Much love to you, Dan. Appreciate you. You missed 1 mid-afternoon live and a weekday, and you're totally out of the loop. I mean, I just gave the full minute clip that kind of spurred this on. I wanted to do a video anyways. I wanted to show this collection anyways, because I bet we will get to some cards in here where I will, there is no one in cards that has never, like, licked their finger, wiped it away. There's no one in cards that has never used a fingernail to scratch something away. There's no one in cards that's never, like, sometimes you open a pack and you see that little white dot on the back. You rub it a little bit. Sometimes it's a little extra piece of cardboard that wasn't meant to be there. You wipe it away, it's gone. Now the card's all blue, the edge is good, and then you send it in. Shout out to PokeSun again, actually. I mentioned her comment was one that I was going to bring up. But let me go back. Let me go back here. So it's hard to draw a line, water, spit, or chemicals, technically. That was just me hitting Nat with the actually chemical engineer. Like, you can't say no chemicals. You need to be more specific. If you say water and spit are fine, anything else is bad, okay, that's fine. Like, I think you should get more specific than that even, but whatever. Like, that would appease me as a chemical engineer. Please just don't say no chemicals, water's allowed, because that's contradictory, and you shouldn't have policy that fundamentally, by definition, doesn't make sense. That's my whole point with that. This is a question that I think would come up too. Like, one thing that I've seen Kurt's Card Care do, one thing that, it's funny, I actually, 2 years ago, probably, a year and a half, 2 years ago, I had a live stream where I cracked a PSA graded Charizard card. And on that PSA graded Charizard card, there was some, I don't even know what to call it. There was some kind of dirt. There was some kind of, dirt or whatever. So some kind of foreign thing that was not originally on the card, not intended to be there. Within that live stream, I scraped it off. I scraped it off with like a pen cap. Edge of a pen cap or something like that. I think I actually took a pen cap and like scraped it off. Kind of weird to just show this, but yeah, let me... I wanted to show... So what about massaging the corners of a Van Gogh Pikachu? Is that altering? That's kind of along the lines of when I talked about if you have a card that you just pulled from a pack and it has a little white dot on it, and you rub your finger along it, and it turns the white dot blue. The white dot falls off, whatever it is. Maybe it was extra card. WotC cards, especially a lot of those rough cuts, you can kind of like smooth a little weird edge thing that shouldn't be there. Is that fine? Is that altering? Is that legit? Is that allowed? Everyone does little things like that to some extent. So I think it just needs to be defined. I want to play by the rules. Like, we just need to better define the rules, in my opinion. I mean, the fact that she's asking that question, the fact that like all this drama exists is because it's not well defined. So when Nat said in the thing that it's simple, I would just push back on that like core fundamental thing.
That are that are clear foreign substances that are not, natural in a card.
I mean, Kurt says his stuff is natural chemicals. Like, these things are too vague. We need an explicit policy. What's good, what's not good.
Cardboard setting. It's a very easy line to draw, and
it's not an easy line to draw whatsoever, I don't think. And I guess maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in chat. Let me know if everyone knows everything that's allowed, everything that's not allowed. I'm gonna bring up some instances that I think will stump everyone in here, or maybe they won't. Maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe I'm just too cute and too dumb to know. Let's see. So you're saying you might be altering? I mean, if wiping off something on the edge of a card, is that altering? One thing that I have on my list to bring up later too, people who take a card, maybe say a card is a PSA 5, PSA 6 quality, and then they crease it in half, and then they crease it in half the other way, and then they crease it in half and they rip it, and they send it in to get a PSA 1. PSA 1 play is a thing. Sorry, old card chap. Sorry, whoever else does that for blowing that up. But that's a thing that's happened before. Is that allowed? Like, say, like, there are people that are collectors out there. Collectors, we're a strange bunch. There are people that want every grade from 1 to 10. Is it fine for me to take a card that was formerly a 7 and put a big gouge in it to make it get a 6 or a 5 or a 4 or a 3 or a 2 or a 1? Is it only disallowed? And some of these things we'll touch on it in... I guess I should bring it up. So, per Pokemon Classics, and I'm not putting words in his mouth. This is just what he said in his thing. Theoretically, like per Pokemon Classics thing, you would have to ask him on this. I'm not saying that he's taking this claim on like PSA 1s. But per this, profit motive. If you are damaging a card to make it a PSA 1 to make more money, that would violate like the unethical bullet point that Pokemon Classics laid out as far as like having a profit motive. Unknown effects, no. Deceptive purpose, like, no. You want people to know that that's a PSA 1. You're showing that it's a PSA 1. You're intentionally making it visibly have more damage so that it gets a lower thing. So it only checks like one of the 3 boxes of the issues with card cleaning per Pokemon Classics. But one thing that he wanted to show, I guess let me catch up in chat a little bit more before I go into this. No man-made chemicals. I mean, there are a lot of naturally occurring things. That's where natural... I mean, Kurt's Card Care, I don't know what's in it, but he claims that some of his products are, like, natural. There's a lot of natural things that would destroy cards. I mean, there are a lot of natural things that would... And then even water. If you're in Flint, Michigan, if you're in upstate New York, like, depending on where you live... I mean, there is water that is just fundamentally different. I mean, can we use acid rain to clean the cards? I mean, that's water. That's me getting cute, I know. But that's not my actual stance. That's not what I'm actually doing tonight. But it needs to be more definitive than just water and spit. I was also the guy trying to be cute. Yes, I was the one he was referencing trying to be cute. And I was not trying to be cute. Like, I was trying to have an actual conversation. I was trying to gain understanding. One of the comments that I thought I put through into that live stream was me defining what I think is good and what I think is bad. And it's not a perfect definition. I will share with you tonight, if I were a grading card company and I was tasked with like saying what flies and what doesn't fly, I did my best to come up with like a one-line succinct policy on what's allowed and what's disallowed. I couldn't do it. What I came up with, the best thing I came up with, leaves gaps. And I'm going to bring up those gaps and we're going to talk about it. I I bet Dan was the kid that asked too many questions in school. Science and math class, I probably did. I really love science and math. I really love actually understanding things, not just like getting through. Except for in other class, maybe. Dan was the kid that reminded the teacher they forgot to assign homework. Definitely never. I was fairly smart. I think I graduated like 5th or 6th out of 89 people. I did not try a ton. I'm not saying that I could have been valedictorian had I tried. I could not have been valedictorian. Had I tried a lot, I probably would have moved from like 5th to 3rd. And it wasn't worth it. It's like I optimized my effort to get me into like high A territory, to get me into 5th in my class. And the added effort to get into 4th or 3rd, I probably couldn't have gotten into 1st or 2nd. The added effort to get into 4th or 3rd, if I could have even done that. I didn't put that in because it wasn't worth it. Like I was optimizing way back when. I was optimizing how much effort to put in school. A was good enough. Let's see. Dan is fighting for his life. Don't rub Kurt juice on your cards. It's pretty simple. If that's their policy, then that's their policy. Then Bob's Card Care will come out and it will be a different formula. And it will be... I mean, Bob will sell a kit that he just spits in water, mixes it up, and then sends that out in a kit. And it's too, someone DoorDash Dan some IPAs or this could get real dark. Oh, man. Let me see. Dan is dying on this hill. I did not drive exactly the speed limit. There's an optimal speed limit to go to minimize your risk, minimize your danger, minimize your risk of getting pulled over. Why is he screaming? Is he aware Nat can't hear him? Oh man, God. We do have the red lights now. I'm trying to get caught up with chat. Then we'll go deeper into this. Catch them all. I do not do React content collectibles. That is very fair. That is very fair. I am doing the content which I do not enjoy. I do not enjoy. I did get permission from PK. Yeah. It is what it like. I was gonna make a video referencing this anyways. But it is me making the content I don't like to make. Not sure I've ever seen someone love drama more than Danny. Hopefully I can get caught up soon. Oh my god, I don't think I can get caught up soon. Ernesto, you can come up with a million different definitions for chemical. Water is definitely chemical by certain definitions. If they wanna define it in some way that fully encompasses what's allowed and what's not allowed, perfectly fine. Yeah, that first edition Charizard. There was actually some commentary. There were some people in my comments. There was some commentary about it elsewhere that people said that was wrong and that was bad. And that was me. So that was what I was trying to get to. I was trying to get to what I think is like the line. So this is what I think is the line, honestly. When I took stuff off, let me just read the statement. If anyone can add something in chat, let me know what you think. This is what I think. So when you are preparing a card to submit to PSA, CGC, BGS, if I were a grading card company, I would start with something like this, and then I would have to add further nuance, add further caveats. This is where I'd start, though. So when you take a card, when you take any card, don't add anything. And some of this is obvious. Don't add anything that was not originally a part of the card's production that will remain. So that's where, like, wax. If you're filling scratches, if you're putting a wax on there that will fill cracks in the surface, if you're putting some kind of a ink, if you're coloring the back of a card, some of the most common like things, and ZNG Emporium had a video about this where someone inked the back of cards that he bought in a collection. If you're adding ink that will remain to cover whitening, that is easy. That is obvious. No one is on board with adding ink. If you are adding wax, Kurt's Card Care is actually on board with that. I am very against that. I'm very on the opposite side of Kurt with adding wax that will fill holes. If you're adding any kind of a thing that you're like polishing, adding any kind of a thing that will leave any kind of a residue, that's where my statement, like IPA, spit, like water, they don't leave anything. So I think they're more fair game. I've never used IPA. I think IPA is above the line, but I don't know why exactly. I don't know how to articulate in a succinct statement that could be a policy for a grading card company. I don't know how, I'm not smart enough. I'm too dumb to articulate why IPA is not good, but water is fine. They're both solvents. Water is a better solvent. Water is the universal solvent. So water in many ways is a better solvent than IPA, depending on what kind of thing we're getting after. But why I think what I did on the Charizard was fine in that live stream. Do not remove anything originally intended to be a part of the card production. So when I say originally intended to be a part of the card production, this is where dirt. If you have dirt on a card, if you have a fingerprint on a card that was not there originally, that was not meant to be there originally, because maybe there was a sticky finger guy in the production facility. Maybe you just pulled a base hollow Charizard that 25 years ago someone had greasy fingers and they touched the hollow. I mean that's perfectly plausible. That was there from production 25 years ago. I think you're fine removing that 25 years later. It wasn't meant to be there. If there's a little bit of extra card on the corner and you want to brush that away with your finger, I think that's fine to do because it wasn't intended to be there. Once you start trimming though, trimming obviously violates this. Inking obviously violates this because you're, one, trimming, you're removing stuff that was intended to be there. Inking, you are adding stuff that wasn't intended to be there. I guess intended to be there can be kind of an issue. And again, this is why this is what makes it interesting to me. You could take a miscut card. You could take a miscut card and you could say, well, it wasn't intended to be off center, so I'm just trimming it to make it as it was intended to be centered. I would say you're removing cardboard that was intended to be there, that was there after production, that you can't remove. So that's my take on that. If anyone can share in chat what they would have as policy, because there are issues with my policy that I'll bring up. There are issues with my policy. It does not encompass everything. It does not encompass IPA. IPA leaves no trace. Maybe PSA can come up with something where they can detect if IPA was used on it hours ago, minutes ago, years ago, whatever. I don't think that will be the case. I mean, we used to use it. A lot of people would use that in scientific settings because it leaves no trace. Yeah, so that's where I'm coming from. That's the best policy statement that I could come up with. It's not perfect. It has holes. If anyone has any better, feel free to let me know. I'm going to go back full screen. Let's see. Microfiber cloths too. Like I've used Q-tip. I've used part of my shirt or something. I don't know. I don't know. I've never used the microfiber cloth. I think that's one of the cloths that you get with like a pair of sunglasses. One of the cloths you get with like a kit for putting a screen on like on a cell phone or something. I've never used those. I don't keep one of those handy. I literally just use my finger or part of my t-shirt or something. But let's see. The idea is to make sure that it's something that it's actually logical, that can be followed and abided by. Like saying that you can't use chemicals, but you can use water is just contradictory. So that can't be policy. Let's see. Have we ever considered that PSA doesn't actually care? Graders aren't running tests on your Charizard Sword Shield 50. They care to the extent that it impacts their bottom line, as any business would. Obviously, there's huge implications when Kurt's Card Care comes out and says, these things that you're saying I'm not allowed to use, I've been using for 20 years on tens of thousands of cards. That's of massive concern to them due to the PSA financial guarantee. So it's in their best interest to come out with like a strong, firm policy on what's allowed and what's not allowed. That's my whole point. I know we got a lot of memeing going on in the chat. I know I allow a lot of trolling in my chat, and like part of that's on me, so we're never gonna get around that. But hopefully people understand where I'm coming from and realize that there's actually logic within this conversation. Why does any of it matter? People are going to continue to use products and submit and will go undetected. Then already too many out in the market, so nothing actually changes. I mean, if PSA comes up with a solution that actually verifies whether or not any of these things were used, which I highly question. I'm on board with you. I highly question it. You're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like in RuneScape, they say, oh, you can't bot. But tons of people bought everything. I've never bought it on RuneScape. I don't understand I understand some people do it to like sell gold and make money, but like, yeah, it's not as lucrative as just doing business in Pokemon. I don't understand it from that perspective. But it's against the rules. They can't detect it, so it goes on like crazy. And then the bans are very case by case. The bans are very like unequally enforced, which is just problematic inherently. Let's see. We need a former classmate interview, basically to vouch for my abilities as a chemical engineer. And right here, Peak That Shoe is in here asking how to alter a card. Dan, I'm late, but I need advice. I have appealed 2000 ANA Merrill. The glue on the back is like if you took a glue stick to the back. Have you ever successfully removed glue like this, or how would you? One question I would ask you, Peak, not ironically, not trying to be like an a-hole. Are you allowed to? I genuinely don't know. Like, I have never seen on PSA, on BGS, on CGC, a policy that I'm fully comfortable with on what you're allowed to do. I guess, technically, like, per that live stream that Nat had earlier, you can use spit and water. If it doesn't come off with spit and water, then it's stuck there forever. That's the best advice I can give you. That's as far as I know. Yeah, I genuinely don't know if there exists somewhere in PSA's disclaimers and all the things that you agree to when you submit. Like, there might be more there, but I don't know. Let's see. Dan, 1 hour behind chat. Collectibles. I'm almost caught up. Technically, you shouldn't spit or use water, but Nat was being a bro in the moment because his main concern is the Kurt juice. That's problematic to me. Like now Brad's saying you can't even spit or use water. Like, what are we talking about? We got, I mean, I'm going to believe, I think Brad's just making crap up here. I would not believe Brad here. I would believe the CEO of PSA or whatever. Yeah, CEO, president. I forget, Ryan Hogue and Nat Turner. I think Nat's the CEO, right? And Ryan Hogue is the president. Whatever the case may be. Nat said water and spit is fine. So I'm going to go with water and spit is fine. Brad's saying it's not. So like I'm genuinely confused on what's allowed. Let's see. It's not that deep, Dan. I think it's fairly deep. I mean, it's fairly deep. There are cards. There's a lot of money at stake, right? I mean, the whole... Well, one thing that I'm going to get into, I guess I'll get into it now. One big thing is, like, wiping signatures. Per my definition that I put on the screen, technically wiping signatures would be fine. As a pure collector, Dan, I do not care about signatures whatsoever. I don't want ink on my card. And that's kind of like this interesting thing where... So you're allowed to ink a card if the right person does it in the right way. I mean, PSA's history with, like, rating fake cards, I mean, they just recently changed that a lot, changing the color of the label and stuff, but there's a whole different rabbit hole there that I guess I won't fully go down. But, a lot of controversy. Pokemon requires them to write, like, to Dan, Mitsuhiro, Rita, here's your Charizard. As a collector, like, I would be fine with it saying to me. If I got a card signed by me, but, like, say I was a collector that couldn't travel, for whatever reason, couldn't afford it, whatever the thing may be. If I wanted to buy a card, I'm actually selling some cards on consignment right now. They're actually packaged up already, so I can't show them. But they say, like, to Lee. If I were Dan as a collector and I wanted a Mitsuhiro Arita signed card and I couldn't afford to whatever, otherwise I wouldn't go to an event, am I allowed to wipe the signature off? I mean, I'm removing something that wasn't originally intended to be there. I'm removing ink from it, a foreign chemical, a foreign substance from the card that wasn't intended to be there. And I've seen some people say it's fine and good, and I think PSA's stance, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure PSA's stance is that you can't do that. But then some amount of them got graded, some amount of them didn't. The whole grading thing, I'll get into another rabbit hole. But if I were a collector, I would not want it to say to Lee on it. If I were a collector and PSA didn't allow me to, like, wipe it and I knew that, if I knew that they didn't allow me to wipe a signature and then later grade it, I wouldn't do that. I'd just keep it raw. Like, I'd wipe the signature so it didn't say to Lee, and I'd have it to me instead. It would just say whatever. But I'm not. It's all arbitrary. It's all hypothetical. I'm not a signature collector anyways. But, like, these are the things that come up in the hobby, and there's no right. Like, with trimming, with certain things, there is a right and wrong that's been defined. Certain things are pushed into the black and white territory. The other stuff in between, though, it's not fully sorted out. And let me go into the next thing here. So here's where, I mean, very obvious things that Pokemon Classics and I are on the same page about. Trimming, inking. I already mentioned them. Bad, bad, bad. Very bad. Obviously bad. I don't think anyone is arguing that trimming is fine, that inking is fine. I think we're all on the same page. Inking is fine only if it was done by the illustrator of the card and it's squiggled in the way that means their name. That's when inking is fine. But not like, not to deceive, not to defraud the future buyer of like trying to hide white spots. Fully on board with Pokemon Classics here. This is where he's showing like the wax. I am fully on board. Wax is a chemical. Water is a chemical. Wax leaves residue though. Wax leaves residue that fills the holes that makes it look better. So I'm fully on board with like, you should not be able to add wax. And there are people in this chat. I'm not going to name names. There are people in this chat that I know have a Kurt's Card Care Kit. I do not have one. I will never have one. So memeing aside, if you want Red Light Dan to come after you, I guess keep the memes flowing. I agree. I am on Classic side. I am on Nat Turner's side. That we should not be adding wax to our cards. We should not be filling in surface defects, things of that nature. Fully on board with that. One analogy though. So Pokemon Classics used a false analogy. I think he grabbed this from E4, Elite Forum, of oh, well, we restore our cars. We wax our cars. We restore them. We take them to the body shop, whatever. It's a bad analogy. I mean, Matt, Pokemon Classics called it out as a bad analogy. I fully agree. Here's where I have a good analogy, though. I wish, and maybe Matt will make a follow-up. I don't know. He doesn't need to. He doesn't owe us, me, or anyone one. But I would be interested to hear his take. Like maybe Classics is listening. Pressing. So here's what's called pressing in the comics world. And this isn't just like arbitrary, oh, coins and comics are so different. This is literally done by CGC Comics. So you can pay CGC Comics. And this is an example of what pressing can do right on their own website. I mean, again, this is PSA-centric, kinda, because I am reacting to Nat's content, which I don't like to do. But this is CGC here. BGS might offer similar services. I don't even know if BGS grades comics, but CGC offers this. They offer. So this is why I'm saying certain things are more arbitrary. Can you, as PokeSun asked, can you, one thing I've heard other people describe is you take a card and you put it in a card saver, and then once it's in the card saver, say it has an edge dent or something, if you actually take and you and this card does not have a dent or anything, I'm just demonstrating. If you take and you kind of roll something over it, like a pen, something rounded, like a edge of something, can you push away dings? Are you allowed to do that? I don't know. In comics books, it's allowed. I don't know. I don't think so. But it doesn't, so what I showed you earlier, it technically doesn't violate my rule. It's not adding anything that wasn't intended to be there. It's not removing anything. It's just reshaping things. So it's like, can you make the rule that you're not allowed to reshape things from the condition that you have them in your hand? Well, then you can't make PSA 1s either. So it's like, do PSA 1 manufacturers have to go? Are PSA 1 manufacturers scammers now? Some people might say yes. Some people might say no. We don't know. We don't have policy. We don't have, and as a hobby, ideally led by our hobby leaders, our industry leaders, PSA, BGS, CGC, eBay, Golden, Heritage, PWCC. Ideally, they will set the rules, and then we will abide by them. In comics, not only can you do this, the grading company will do this for you. And then if you say, oh, well, that's CGC, they suck. This is PSA we're talking about. That's CGC, they suck. Because someone might say that. Well, here's PSA. Here is, what's it called? PCGS Restoration. So it's coins, it's not cards, to be fair. But I think, so Classics use the analogy of cars. I think it's just a bad analogy. He didn't make that one, to be fair. Someone in E4 made it. So shame on them. I kid. But the best analogy, I think the best analogy we have is other collectible categories. Not only other collectible categories that our leading trading card authenticators also do business in. So PCGS is under the umbrella of Collectors Holdings. Nat Turner, I believe, is the CEO of Collectors Holdings. So he is above the umbrella which encompasses PCGS. And you're not going to be able to read this whole thing. I fully understand and appreciate that. Not all coins can be restored. But again, this is where we're in the gray area. There's no right or wrong until we define it. So in coins, in comics, they've defined it. They've said not only is pressing comics fine, we will do it for you if you pay us. So, I mean, to some extent, like, this is analogous to what Kurt's Card Care does in trading cards. But it's being done by the grader, the authenticator, and it's fine. And all the arguments, like, I heard all the arguments, preservation of a car is because it's for utility, makes sense, I'm on board. Preservation of a one-of-one, like a Da Vinci. Preservation of the Sistine Chapel. Shout out SM Pratt in his paywall video that I watched the other day. I'm fully on board with that. But the issue is, in coins, those are not one-of-one artifacts. Those are not one-of-one art historic pieces. Those are mass-produced items. I mean, if you're talking about, like, PCGS will restore, owned by collectors, headed by, I mean, Nat Turner and them. And again, CGC does the same thing. This is not PSA-centric. This is just, I think this is a better analogy than cars. So why in coins do they remove toning? They remove unattractive toning. They will do that for you. You will pay extra to have PCGS in a collectible space modify your collectible. They will remove spotting for you. They will remove haze for you. They will not reverse wear. So this is where a line in the sand has been drawn in coins. You cannot have wear reversed. You cannot have your thing polished. You cannot have, like, scratches filled or anything like that. I'm on board with that. But, like, these other things, one thing Nat Turner mentioned in that clip, or maybe it was shortly after the clip, is, like, removing stains. Per my definition, again, I'll put it on the screen again. Per my definition, I'm a little torn on stain removal. If you can remove stains in a way that doesn't leave any residue and actually removes a residue that was not originally there, not originally intended to be there, how's that different than wiping away dirt? How's that? I think Retro called it schmutz. How is that different than me wiping away schmutz on that PSA? I think I bought a PSA 4 base set first edition Charizard. I cracked it out, I wiped away some dirt, and I turned it into a CGC 6 or a CGC 5. It's like, if people are allowed to make CGC and PSA 1s, why can't I make the CGC 5 by removing the dirt and kind of, like, whitening, damaging the card a little bit? I genuinely don't know fully what we're allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do. Are we allowed to make PSA 1s? Are we allowed to attempt to remove indents to some extent? Are we allowed to try to roll a corner a little bit smoother? Especially sports cards. I think this is more prone for sports cards because they're a lot thicker. Pokemon cards are a lot thinner, and I think it doesn't show up as much. I think it's a lot more of a pertinent thing in thick, like 35 point, I think they are, plus trading cards. And one thing I'll leave you with here, so this is the whole form. Let me see if I can find it, because I actually lost it. So let me see if I can find it. So PCGS Restoration. Right on their website, you are literally paying the professionals to do it for you. So we're saying this is a no-go in cards, but then we're doing this in coins, who is owned by the parent company of PSA. We're doing it in comics, who is owned by the parent company, like, of CGC. But, like, why can you do this in coins? Why? I mean, I think it's like, is it in the same building? Is it down the road? Well, one I would ask, as a chemical engineer, I'm genuinely curious. What are they doing here? Like, I don't know what they're using. I don't know what their process is. I mean, I have some ideas, but I think chemicals are involved there to some extent. It's professionals with chemicals. It's not random Joe Schmo with chemicals. Like, and to me, honestly, I'm a current and former coin collector. I used to buy and sell some coins. I actively collect some coins. At some point in the future, I hope to do coins again. I don't like this. So me, my own personal collecting taste, I don't like restored coins. I don't like the removal of the original patina. One of my favorite things about, like, coin silver, 90% silver, 10% copper, I love the patina that they get over time. I love the age, the history. Like, I'm going full collector dust here. But I like that stuff. I don't like that PSA offers this service. I don't want to buy a coin that's been treated by it. But I don't think I have a way to tell. So me personally, I'm kind of confused. Like, historically off what I've seen in coins, what I see in comics, I don't think it jives with everything. We haven't fully defined it. Like, we are a much younger hobby. than comics. We are a much younger hobby than coins. There's no trimming. We've already taken a stance on. Inking, we've already taken a stance on. Line in the sand drawn, do not pass. Those are fully obvious, fully detectable. You can't do them. Illegal. Go to jail. FBI. There's precedent for that. But in coins, this stuff flies. In comics, this stuff flies. So where are we going to draw the line? If we want to draw the line at spit and water, I don't get it. I don't really like it, but I guess that's fine. Let's do that then. Let's just put it, what I attempted to do here, I attempted to put it in one succinct statement. And maybe I apologize. I apologize to Nat Turner. I apologize to PSA, CGC, BGS. If they have one succinct line or 2 or 3 succinct lines on their submission form that you agree to when you submit that I never read, nobody ever read, I apologize. Maybe this is all already covered, but I don't think it is. Are you allowed to take a pen and try to roll out a little edge issue? Are you allowed to take a little microscopic suction cup and try to like pull out a crease or pull out an indent if that's a thing? I feel like that could be a thing. Where's the limit? Certain things I know. Certain things I know, but certain things I don't know. And that's the whole point of this first part of the live stream. So I'm going to try to catch up with chat. I feel like a lot was said there. I feel like I'm making good points. I know Brad. I know we got a lot of memeing going on in the chat. That's my own fault. That is the precedent that I've set as this channel goes. But I'd like to actually engage in intelligent discourse. I'd actually like to try and solve something. I'm not trying to be like the arbiter of truth. I'm not trying to be a jackass. I'm not trying to be cute. I'm not trying to like, gotcha. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to be a smartass. I'm genuinely trying to understand. My comment made it in the live stream with PK and that. I was genuinely trying to have discourse and trying to understand. It was taken as a meme. It was taken as like, or I think the more extreme thing it was taken at, it was like, this guy is using the age-old, because some of the people who use Kurt's Card Care, they will say, water and saliva are chemicals, so I'm going to use my chemicals. They're all chemicals, they're all fine. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that their argument is kind of like not completely invalid. So that's my stance, that's what I'm saying, that's where I come from. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hopefully Walrus, hopefully Brad, hopefully Retro, hopefully we can like try to be civilized adults for a few minutes. Maybe we can't, whatever, it's fine. We'll go on to the collection. But I'm genuinely trying to like figure out, and it needs to be defined, because again, there is precedent. Not only is there precedent in like these are other collectible industries that are, I feel like these are the most solid analogs you could come up with. Like, what better analog to trading card collecting is like coin collecting, comic book collecting. That's as close as we can get. And it's literally under the same roof, under the same umbrella as PSA. And NGC does this, I'm pretty sure, too, who is also under the umbrella of CGC. As far as Beckett, I don't interact with as much, so... And I'm not doing this to try to, like, cause controversy. I'm not trying to call out PSA in a negative way, call out CGC, BGS in a negative way. I'm genuinely trying to understand, and I think we need to define this as a hobby together so that we don't have issues in the future, so that everyone's on the same page. I think they've done that in coins, and they've done that in comic books. And in coins, as I mentioned, I don't really like it. I genuinely don't like what PCGS does for restoration. Let me Google really quickly and see if NGC restoration is a thing. So let me show this just to be fair. Just to show that this is not... So reveal your coin's true beauty. A professional approach to numismatic conservation. So yeah, they're taking this like ugly... it's got like hazy... They're taking this hazy bullion and they're actually, so here's what they're doing here. So one big thing in coins, non-PVC. A lot of the things are non-PVC. PVC, polyvinyl chloride, I am a chemical engineer. Polyvinyl chloride will leave residue on coins after years and after decades. And so they're basically saying, you have a foreign chemical, a foreign substance on your coin that you don't want it, that wasn't originally intended to be there when it was produced. We will professionally remove that for you, and that is fine. That is what PCGS and NGC are doing. Why are they doing that in coins? Like, maybe there's a rational, logical argument that I'm missing. Like, maybe Nat would just say, oh, easy, you're dumb, it's this, it's XYZ. I don't know what it is, I haven't heard it yet. But maybe, like, I hope this live stream, maybe this will prompt me finding out the answer. Like, it could just be me being ignorant, being dumb. Like, here, I mean, Nat explicitly said you cannot remove stains from old cards. That's one thing Kurt's Card Care does. This is removing copper spots on gold coins. This is removing, like, actual stains. This is removing stuff that wasn't originally produced there, wasn't originally intended to be there, chemically, like, and they're chemically taking it off. They're not doing this with a microfiber cloth. I don't know what they're doing with it exactly, but chemically, I'm quite confident that you are just not abrading that away. Because if you abraded it away, abrasion, like the past tense of abrasion, I guess, the act of using abrasion, whizzed. What do they call it in coins? They call it whizzed, wiped, dipped. Dipped is bad because you dip it in a chemical and it takes a lot of that stuff off, but it takes off the luster too. So whizzing is bad, where you kind of polish it with something. Dipping is bad, where you dip into a chemical. What they're doing here, I don't know exactly. They're doing it professionally. The end product is nice. The end product is nice, but that's the argument that Kurt makes too. Kurt would see this and he would say, I'm just doing the same thing. And yeah, like I think that's a reasonable argument. If we don't want it in coins, that's fine. But we need to define it. That's my whole point. We need to define it. Look at this. Like, how's that legitimate? How's that allowed? That to me, like, the one on the left is ugly. Hell yeah, it's ugly. But the one on the right is chemically altered. I mean, I don't know. That's I don't want either one in my collection as a collector of coins. The left one's ugly and the right one's altered. Like, I'm more, yeah. So that's where I'm coming from. Mercury Dimes, this is right in my wheelhouse. I don't want the one on the left, but I don't want the one on the right. Yeah, so that's where I stand. Those are one random dude on the internet's thoughts. Let me catch up. I will actually share that really quickly. It ain't really that deep. Kurt was dunking cards in a bath of juice. PSA had to do something. So he was. And this is the other one. This is the other one that I shared in the description below. This was crazy to me. I will play the video very briefly, I guess. Let me make sure my audio is muted. I forgot to turn my music back on. I just realized. Where am I? So yeah, let me mute my audio so I can turn my music back on. Hopefully you guys don't hear my music. Let me play like a tiny snippet of this, like 2 seconds. I did not reach out to Dan the Card Man. Link is in the description below. I'm not trying to steal your content. I'm trying to use 2 seconds of this. Right here, look for the bubbles. So whatever this bath is that Kurt dipped these card in, look at it bubbling. I hope you can see the bubbling. It might be too tiny, but this card is literally bubbling in this juice, whatever Kurt's Card Care is. Kurt's Card Care is clearly not spit. It's clearly not water. I'm on board with not using Kurt's Card Care, not allowing it. I hope there's a way that can detect it. I'm kind of worried there's not. But yeah, look at the bubbling. So yeah, let me show too, like, this card was actually encapsulated. This is where the detective work came in from, like, blowout cards. The card had certain stains on it, so they graded it and then they deactivated it later. So I'm fully on board with that card being deactivated. I just worry when Kurt says that tens of thousands of cards he's done this with and they didn't catch it. So what yeah, it's very concerning when they can't detect it and tons of them, potentially 5 figures of them, are out there. 5 figures quantity wise, maybe 7, 8 figures dollar wise, maybe more. I have no idea. They don't give a F what you do to your cards, just don't rub it in their face. I mean, that's the way people are, though. It's not surprising, the whole shout-out of Kurt's Card Care. Whether or not it was used on the Wembiana, I have no idea. PSA probably has no idea. Someone knows, but it would not be in their financial interest to say, obviously. PSA did not deactivate the Wembiana, as far as I know. Hopefully, when I asked for, like, civil discourse, hopefully we can get by the memes a little bit. I'm going to try to... This is actually a valid one, too. Like, fingers have oils, therefore altering. I mean, a fingerprint on a card, that card has now been altered by a foreign substance. There are probably things in the oils in our hands. I mean, coins, that's where a lot of discoloration comes from, coins after decades. What does, like, a certain kind of sweaty, salty, oily finger residue on a card hollow do in 30 years later? we probably should know because, like, I mean, base set is 25 years old. Japanese base set's 30 years old. It's probably fine generally as long as it's not crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I'm fully on board. You can wipe off fingerprints. I'm fully on board that you can microfiber cloth away minor little dirt things. But like stain removal to me, it feels like they're being inconsistent. It feels like if they say that you can wipe off something with your finger that wasn't intended to be there, but you can't use, like, I guess I don't know fundamentally what the stains are, is where I'm getting a little bit lost. I don't know. Yeah, that's why I don't like the chemical thing. I don't like the chemical thing because it just makes no sense. Like, get more specific. I got Walrus and Retro going off on the memes. Hopefully they tone down so we can have an actual conversation. I don't know. We'll see. There are so many pages of memes. It's gonna take me 15 minutes to catch up. Hopefully I can catch up. Am I allowed to? I couldn't give less of an F. LOL. That's funny. I haven't watched PK stream yet, so I'm out of the loop. What you're talking about is altering a card in a way that PSA would not like you to alter the card. If you go on to submit that card to PSA, they might not be able to detect it. They might encapsulate it, but if they knew that you did that, they would not encapsulate it. Is what I understand. I've seen Brad spit on cards in person. See, the memes are funny. Like I'm all for the memes, but like here I'm trying to have an actual reasonable conversation too. So Mason says, I've used water and alcohol to clean probably hundreds of cards and reselling. I did not disclose this ever. Am I canceled now? I've never personally used alcohol. Mason's used alcohol. So is that fine? Is that not fine? I think, like, personally, partially out of caution because I genuinely don't know. I think alcohol, like per what we just watched, the clip earlier, an hour ago now, alcohol is too far. Given that it doesn't leave a trace, if you're using IPA, isopropyl alcohol, or whatever other solvent you want to use, chemically wise, like I lean towards wanting to allow it, but I understand that I want to play by the rules. So I've never used IPA. I've never used any kind of, like, Kurt's Card Care, any of that stuff. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess Mason's disclosing this now for the first time ever here on this live stream where no one will see it. None of his buyers will see this, but And Quilly, this was probably before I shared the PCGS in the CGC restoration and the NGC restoration. It is literally not only allowed, it is endorsed by, it is a paid for service in coins, in comic books. Coins and comic books are the closest relatives of trading cards that we have, I think. So yeah, I don't know. It's like, I'm genuinely confused. Like Mason's question here. Why is that not allowed? Where is it explicitly stated in PSA, CGC, BGS's terms that it's not allowed? The wax I get more because the wax is leaving something that's not there per my definition that I gave, and I don't see any. I see a lot of people memeing in chat, but I don't see anyone coming up with their own definition. So let me go back. I'm gonna show it a million times. Do not add anything not originally part of the card's production that will remain. Do not remove anything originally intended to be a part of the card in production. To me, alcohol passes that test, but I still don't use it because I know it's like borderline. I know, well, according to like the interview today, according to a couple recent things I've heard, it's beyond the border. It's past the line. And Nat says it's a simple line. So I don't think it's simple. I genuinely don't think it's simple. I'm gonna try to get up to where we're not memeing. If we're not memeing, if we are, I'll just go to the cards. Let's see. Saliva contains enzymes that help break down food. I don't think that's safe for cards. 95% alcohol on a Q-tip. Don't hit the edge of the card. So I'm assuming you're saying like ethanol, but I mean by alcohol, I'm assuming you're meaning ethanol. Ethanol, methanol, like there's a lot of alcohols, but let's see. Where am I being a snake on stream? Oh, is that when I talked about? I didn't name any names. I didn't name any names. How do we feel about sun fading Japanese shining Muse to make it look shiny? Should PSA care about the sun, Dan? That is breaking down the ink that is originally intended to be there. Like sun fading. Yeah, I don't know. I personally think that's an alteration that should be disclosed. PSA, they graded, like I know relatively recently and a couple weeks ago, they graded like a very sun faded Mario Pikachu that sold for like maybe $1,000 less. They've graded very sun faded trophies, and I don't know how you quantify that, because the issue is some of this falls within like normal production variants. I know, and Mason's the great guy, he's in the chat for this, but like the way these cards are manufactured, the way they're printed, CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, black. I think that on the rosette pattern, you can actually see that whatever color it is, I forget which one fades more due to UV exposure, but you can probably tell when a certain color is missing because of looking at the rosette pattern and just seeing which one's not present versus which one's sun faded. Is PSA going to go to all these lengths? Should they? Like, I don't know. I don't know. A lot more memeing. Let's see. Hey guys, hit Catch 'em All Collectibles on eBay for a great price on Japanese booster boxes. Every box is fulfilled with care from Retro's house. It's lit. Yes. Oh, man. Let's see where we are. No IPAs are coming tonight. Can you use a humidor to add humidity to take a curl out of a holofoil? That was another point that I intended to bring up. So when a holofoil gets exposed to humidity, some amount, and everyone has seen this who's dealt with, like, especially any vintage, any older collections, binder collections. A lot of people, I think it's pretty widely accepted, but I could be wrong. A lot of people will take that and they'll put it in, I just pulled a card out of this and now it's out of order. Need to put this back in order. But yeah, I have put cards inside of a card saver. I have put that card saver inside of a book, and I've put weight on that book to re-flatten the card out. I am making a physical change to that, not a chemical change. I'm not adding or removing anything. I'm just trying to get it back flat. Mason's talking about adding humidity. That's adding water vapor to the card, absorbing the card. I've heard people like adding water vapor to like a part of the card to get a dimple, to get a little indent to come out. I've never done that. I've done the book. I've done the card in the book. I've never done the humidity thing. Is that allowed? It's water. Per what Nat said today, I think that's fair game. I think getting the warp out of a card with a humidor, I think even trying to get an indent out of a card with humidity if possible is allowed because it's water. Like, I'm not 100% sure, but like that's what I'm taking here. More like condensation. Let's see. Yeah, comic books, coins, cards, they can all have different rules and that can be fine. I'm not trying to say like coins and comics do this, so we have to too. I'm just saying that coins and comics do this. We are like a close relative of coins and comics, I would say. Like, well, what's the next best analog in this space? Like what's the next best analog to trading cards to compare it to? In Classic's video, per the commentary on E4, he used like restoring a car, which is just a bad analogy, and he called it out as being a bad analogy in his video, which I agree with. So yeah, let me continue on. Try to catch up with chat. Delete this live. Like I don't know what I don't know. Basic is one. So Basic's in here saying like I have weird takes. Basic is all for bid rigging. In one of my former live streams, like it just blows my mind that you can be for like buyers pooling their resources together, intentionally deflating the prices of cards, and then like you can't understand. Like I'm not saying I think XYZ is bad. I'm saying I don't know. Let's draw the line together. And then like people are getting like butthurt about that or something. I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Let's see. I'm almost. No, I'm still 20 minutes behind. Is hollow foil not just super thin metal like coins? Yeah. Let's see. I keep a silver eagle on my desk to watch it change over time. That one thing in coins too, it's actually a bit of a controversy. Artificial toning. People will take like sulfurous gases. People will take like any kind of a gas containing sulfur. You can send across the surface of a silver coin, bullion or whatever, and you can get it to tone intentionally in very like cool looking ways. It's its own thing, but different conversation. Let's see. In before Dan loses voice tomorrow. Dishes, that's one of my chores. I do the dishes in my household. No laundry, none of the other stuff, just dishes. I'm impressed how fired you up are on a Monday night, a true go-getter. I'm wearing a Mets shirt right now. I should have put on a Rangers shirt. Rangers had a big W last night. Part of the reason I'm doing it tonight and not tomorrow night, I want to watch the Rangers game tomorrow night. I originally, before the schedule came out, I was like, hey, next week I'll probably I'm getting my driveway done Wednesday. Got other stuff going on later in the week. Rangers are playing again, I think Thursday. So I'm just like, yeah, let me get this done tonight. Let's see. I'm only gonna hire alcoholics to spit on my cards now. Got to get the extra oomph. So we're definitely not gonna get any civilized discussion time. There's no way. There's no way. Why am I not hearing my music? It says it's playing. Oh, okay. It's playing now, and hopefully you guys can't hear. I need some music. I need some 90s country to calm me down. But let's see if we actually got any patina is caused by a chemical reaction, absolutely. So it's like you can chemical to undo a chemical reaction, I don't know. 4Dan once he opens up chat history after this rant. Let's see. Dan knows they add chemicals to coins when they leave the mint. What chemicals are they adding to coins when they leave the mint? It wouldn't even have been to like cause issues. It would have been genuinely like I am trying to find what's allowed, what's not allowed. People are going to test that line, especially when money's on the line. So it needs to be well defined. It needs to be well defined. Dan looking at chat, hoping to find someone that will engage him is going to be dark. Yes, it seems very dark. I'm putting up tons of meme comments. I'm putting up tons of things that are against me. There's a little bit of civil discussion, but not much. I mean, Greeny, what Greeny did with that card blows my mind too. Like the journey that Greeny's tag 10, and this is not me spilling anything that was not spilled. We've got the biggest receipt keepers. We've got some of the biggest snakes in here talking about snake. It's like, it's hilarious. The irony in some of that. But anyways, tag 10 that used to be a PSA 9, that used to be a CGC 9, used to be a CGC 7.5. Wild. I don't know. Wild what we have going on with grading in this hobby. I'm almost to where I'm 10 minutes behind. I'm almost to where I'm gonna go over this collection. I used alcohol on a $2,000 Blue Eyes and it removed a layer and got an SGC 9.5. So here we have Greeny in here openly admitting to using alcohol on a card. I mean, supposedly that's past the line. I've never used alcohol on a card. I think it's reasonable to make that the line, but if they can't detect it, and they should have been able to detect that one, because Greeny showed it off in a video. He showed it off in a video where it lost like some of the original gloss or whatever to the card. It's like, it's crazy what we've got going on in here. I've never used water or alcohol. I just ship it and get my PSA 8. The most honest man out there. Last of my dollars after taking your financial advice. Thank you, Trow, for the what is that? £2 super chat? That's not freedom dollars. How do you think they will try to detect going forward? Will it only be for the cream and the specific card juice? Hopefully PSA makes a clearer statement about what is allowed not going forward. Grade level collectibles saving me. I have one bit of engagement that is serious. Adult discussion level. So IPA, ethanol, like any kind of a solvent that fully evaporates, I think they have no way of detecting that. That is used in scientific industries because of its lack of leaving a residue, because of its lack of leaving, like that's used in a lot of food grade applications, that's used in a lot of high purity applications in industry. The wax though, so if there's a wax that's filling, the holes, that should light up. Whether they need to use XRF, XRF is more for metals, which CGC used XRF to determine the metallic makeup of like the pre-release stamp on the CGC release Raichu. But there are other. The thing is, it would need to be a non-destructive test. Obviously, there are a lot of organic tests that would tell you what kind of organic contaminant you have there that are very, very destructive. So most of the organic tests that I'm familiar with that would likely pick up on a wax, that would likely pick up on something that's filling the holes of the scratches and things like that. A lot of those things, I'm familiar with destructive means for testing for that. So we need a non-destructive means for testing that. Will UV light suffice? Will simply UV light, a short blast of that going through a scanner, going through whatever, will that detect it? I have no idea. Like tag, AGS, when they put it in their scanner, will that blow up on their heat map of all the issues? Will that detect wax? I have no idea. I'm not entirely sure, but so I'm quite confident though that there would be a non-destructive test for determining if wax or something was added and still remains. But IPA and solvents like that, I highly doubt it. Maybe there's something. Not mention they're working on something, which again, props to them for that. Let's see. Yes, they absolutely can tell sun fading versus print errors. It's actually very easy. So that goes back into the CMYK, the rosette pattern. You should be able to tell by like based on what's there, what's not there, what's faded. Am I the only one who doesn't even pre-grade anymore? I don't pre-grade my modern too much. I'm gonna pre-grade this. I'm actually gonna send some to Beckett. I'm gonna send some to Beckett for potential black labels. But a lot of these are just gonna be like, yeah, ship it and accept your fate. I would not buy a $22,000 collection. I'm not gonna ship 3,000 cards. One, I need to vet them to make sure they're actually worthwhile sending, that they can like profit money. I'm not gonna send the $1 bulk V cards. Let's see. Everything is atoms. If you think about it, am I pillar now? Thanks, Kai, for the contribution. Dan's that guy that offers you a glass of water and hands you a cup full of ice and just giggles. Oh, man. Let's see. If the ink used is alcohol-based, then using alcohol to clean would remove material. Dan, roast me, please. I mean, with your need for external validation of a 10 on a card, I mean, you self-roasted there, which I already covered a few minutes ago. Let's see. Dan only highlighting me. He knows I'm safe. This billionaire cooked me. I'm a fire at the homies. There was one earlier that I didn't highlight. Something about Dan got roasted by a billionaire, so now he's coming to roast all us poor people or something like that. Let's see. I'm less than 10 minutes behind. Dan doesn't do the laundry, but he sure is airing a lot of dirty laundry tonight. This is the most goated chat I've ever seen in a live stream. Brow says you're welcome. Is that Tang? It is yellow Gatorade. The best color, the best flavor of Gatorade. I'm going live after this, highlighting Dan's live chat. Please, more content. Question, can we do some live pre-grading very soon? He said this 8 minutes ago. I'm almost there. Maybe. Dan Sears question, what about sticker cards? If you peel them and reuse different fronts and backs to optimize condition, allowed, not changing the card technically. This is like a Theseus's ship type deep conversation on I would lean towards no, but I'm not entirely sure. Kai, stop playing with stickers, grow up. I'm a little bit country, I'm a little bit salty. I'm gonna show you cardboard soon. Some Alan Jackson is in here. Right now I'm listening to who is this? Eric Church. No. This is Dierks Bentley. It's actually Eric Church radio. It's not 90s country radio. He taking anybody he can drag down with him. The biggest pot stir, the biggest drama llama. Brad G cards himself. Life-changing stuff here. We got the green shiz manufacturing drama. I heard James inks his own cards before sending to CGC, so people will feel bad for him for once. Oh, man. They gave me a week. So I put in my 2 weeks. They gave me the whole week, and they walked me off with 1 week to go. Paid, though, which was nice. Extra week of vacation. I've never used alcohol or Kurt's Card Care or any of that stuff, and I don't intend to. The one thing I did, which was met with some amount of controversy, actually, like there was actually a little bit of content made about it. When I took that Charizard, and I took off stuff that wasn't originally there, some amount of people deemed that altering. I did not deem it altering because, by my definition, I've never seen anything by PSA. Again, not today. Reinforced what I did on that live 2 years ago with the PSA 4 Charizard. I took dirt off with my fingernail, with a piece of a pen tip, whatever. Maybe I used the edge of a card saver. I don't remember what I used, but it's out there. I think it was probably the same pen cap from 2 years ago. Let's see. Dan looks like he knows the exact weight difference between regular and double stuffed Oreos. I'm not a double stuffed Oreo guy. I think regular Oreos have the optimal amount of cream filling. Especially you gotta dunk it in milk naturally. Yeah. This is a big thing. If you can detect or see evidence of cleaning and the card in question has a comparable alternative available for the same price, I'm pretty sure everyone would prefer the uncleaned one. But an interesting counter to that is if you cannot detect or see evidence of it, and the cleaned or altered card actually presents better, presents with more shine, presents with more whatever, people would prefer that one. So I don't know. Again, I think the wax, I'm firmly against. It's adding something that wasn't intended to be there. The solvents, the alcohol, which a couple people in here mentioned using, that's tougher. That's where I feel like they don't have as good of an argument. I was going to try tag, but like very, very disconcerting to see and hear Greeny's experiment. I'm probably going to save my money now, at least for the time being. I don't know. We'll see. Am I the only one that has any faith in these companies doing due diligence and evolving their practices? I want to think we can trust them to make improvements. Yeah, I think they will. Like I said earlier, props to Nat for actually putting some dollars into Q&A, R&D, not Q&A. Putting some money into R&D to like sort this stuff out. Maybe a year from now they'll get to the line where they're like, hey, we would love to ban IPA, we would love to ban like solvents, but as long as it leaves no residue. So IPA is allowed, ethanol is allowed, spit, water, they're allowed. Maybe that day will come. I genuinely don't know though. As of today though, spit, water good, ethanol, IPA bad. IR spectroscopy would most likely work. Well, one, you get into the cost of that. Two, you get into the time add, and you get into a lot of spectroscopy is actually destructive, as I was mentioning. A lot of it, you actually need to take a sample, and then like you don't get that sample back. A lot of times they burn something. Like I used to do a lot of FTIR. I used to do NMR. I used to do. I'm losing some of my chemical engineering stuff that I used to do. I used to do. Oh man, what was it? ICP MS, inductively coupled plasma. That was where you'd take a metal, you'd actually you'd burn it, and then I don't know all the science behind how they would determine which metals were in it and things like that. But continuing on. I don't know if Tag is using ultrasonic to remove dust. Their biggest incentive to care, Jackson, I would say, is the I mean, it's always money at the end of the day, which is business. I don't fault them for that, but their biggest incentive to care is their financial guarantee of great authenticity. I'm just gonna close out of some of these things before these videos start and accidentally play the audio from them or something. Oh, I have the audio muted. I know you already know this, Dan, but there can't be a conversation when PSA will never admit it can't detect any of this. Even if they do detect some things, there will always be something that sneaks by. The same issue that OSRS has with botting. I think in old school RuneScape, I think their solution to it will be to RuneLite will be bought by, encompassed into the vanilla client for anyone who knows. Shout out RuneScape in chat if you know what I'm talking about. But I think ultimately, 2 years from now, RuneScape will have to be played on their own one singly endorsed client, and they will keep everything in-house under wraps. I think that's what Fortnite does. I think that's what a lot of these games do. They're always combating the cheaters. If there's a line drawn, people will test that as much as they can. But then in RuneScape, it becomes external things to the client that can watch what's on the screen, and there's a lot of things that can never detect in RuneScape too, probably. What am I losing? Where am I losing? Oh, I know. I'm falling into the memes. Let's see. Dan, the hurt you've caused the homies cannot be fixed with Kurtz. Oh man. Purple Gatorade, come on, man. That was over a year ago, I think. I think it was between a year and 2 years ago. Brad G Cards will probably dig it up. He's a snitch, biggest snitch I've seen around. Always pot stirring, always keeping receipts, always trying to snitch. I can see why the Stein guys have a strong distaste for Dan. Damn whippersnappers repainting Steins. All these conversations that happen in Pokemon, vintage, modern, not grading. Grading isn't a thing. Restoration, all those things go on. All those things go on in Steins too. Smash the like button. 18 is disrespectful. I appreciate you. The green shiz, Josh. Hey, we're finding common ground. That's all we can do is find common ground. Double stuff is too much frosting. Pikachu says, if I can't tell it's cleaned and it's in plastic with a 10 on it, I honestly, sincerely, in all seriousness, do not care, at all. Why the F would you? I want the original recessed dirt on my card and it graded accordingly. Dan hasn't used Obfuscate in a while. Oh, man. So Gerald Rowland says they use it in pharmaceuticals to look at pills without disrupting the pill. So, yeah, there might be. We probably have the technology. We probably have technology out there. It'll be interesting to see what they come up with. I don't think we have the technology. Let me just Google. Does IPA leave detectable residue? So this is saying that IPA will leave not a residue from itself, but it might leave some residue from the container that it was contained within. Maybe there's something there. Maybe there's something that they can source with IPA, but usually, I mean, I don't know if they're using, this is talking about vacuum and elevated temperatures. Obviously, there's things you can do to encourage the quicker evaporation of alcohol, but most solvents like that, IPA, they dissolve, they evaporate very, very readily at room temperature. What was your profession before you went full-time? Serious question. Chemical engineer, believe it or not. I'll take alcohol over genetic material from an hourly employee any day. RuneScape is the best game out there. This live is some of Walrus's best work, and Dan hasn't shown even 30% of it. I haven't read probably half of it, because once I see Walrus, I just know what's coming. But thank you, Mr. Walrus. That said, I appreciate what he's doing. I fully appreciate what he's doing, entertaining live chat. Live chat goat. I'm not going to Kansas City. 50% market value collection. 70%. 70%. Now, yeah. Nat about to drop another Dan vid 30 minutes after this live ends. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt Nat will see this video, but we'll see. Doesn't even read you, Walrus. I think that's permission to go wild. I speed read. I gloss over them. I can tell. I can usually tell very quickly if it's meme or not. And with Walrus, 99% of the time, it's meme. So, it's like what with PSA with that recent Kurt's Card Care submission. They found the one card where they had video evidence that it was altered by Kurt's Card Care, so they deactivated the whole submission. They knew that there was a 99% chance that it was all covered. Let's see. This is a really good one. So, this is a really good one. Then when he meets Nat, hey, I'm the water as a chemical guy. I think about the live a lot. Nat, I don't think about it at all. Honestly, I think he is thinking about Kurt's Card Care a lot. I think I've never bought, I've never owned, I've never used. PSA is and should be thinking about Kurt's Card Care a lot. I genuinely think, as much as the memes, people think I'm emotionally hurt and damaged, and I'm a robot. I'm fine. Trust me. Nat's response to me, I thought was a little bit unprofessional. I think this live stream, some of the comments I'm making, unprofessional. So this is not me like high horse. This is not me. My live chat, the state of like all these live streams that I do, the red lights, there are a lot of like unprofessional things that I do. I'm not trying to say I'm better. That was a pretty unprofessional response in that live stream chat. And I think it was emotion based. I think some amount of it was like stress based. I think Kurt's Card Care is top of mind for PSA right now. And it should be. And it should be CGC and it should be BGS. I think they're stuck in a tough spot. I think they're stuck in a very tough spot. The fact that people think that was such a big thing, like I don't know, weird I guess. But anyways, let me get into yeah, I literally showed it earlier, Green. I mean, you missed me showing the 1 minute clip by Nat and PK, but let me start going to this into this collection. So what I'm going to do with this collection, let me get rid of this browser. Where's the browser? Browser, Chrome, image. Okay. So here we have a collection. Here we have a collection that I bought. It was based on the collector app. In the collector app. So I'm going to make a video. Dan, incoming video collectibles. I know. I'm going to make a video on how I find pricing, how I judge pricing, how I comp pricing, how I decide what I'm going to pay for a collection. So somebody reached out to me and they said, hey, I have every Sword and Shield set. Hey, I have every Sun and Moon set, master sets, forward and reverse, every altar, everything. So I'm like, damn, I don't want to go into TCG Player and add 1 million cards all together. I need a quick way to do this. And first time I've ever done this, I went into the collector app and I added, you can add a whole set. So I added like 30 sets at a time, all the half sets, all the specialty sets. We're gonna cook Dan on cardboard hands. I mean, dozens of people will see that, right? Dozens of people will see that. I love cardboard hands. Go watch cardboard hands, please. Retro, feel free to link it in the description. But yeah, I paid 70%. I paid about 22,000. I guess 70% rounded up. I paid 22,000 on this. I like how it sorts most valuable cards. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna start pulling out. I'm gonna pull out the Moonbryon from Evolving Skies. I'm gonna pull out the Latios. I'm basically gonna go top down by value, and I'm gonna start judging this collection. And what I'm gonna try to do, I'm going to try to see how many cards it takes me to get the $22,000 back. It's going to be a lot of them. It's going to be less than it was going to be recently because I know we're going to need a bunch of cards in this set. So let me see if I can go into Evolving Skies by itself and see what all the most valuable cards are. Let me look up Evolving Skies. So if I look up Evolving Skies, I can actually see every card that I need to take out. I'm probably going to take out... I'm not going to finish this tonight. There's no way I'm going to finish this whole collection audit the whole night. But I'm probably going to pull out every card over $100 and see how quick I can get my money back. Maybe 75. I don't know how many dollars, but this is a great resource. It's a great app for being able to do this. So we're going to take out the... Where's our Moonbryon? It is really cool, though. It is really cool to see the whole set. Like, I've never had an entire Evolving Skies master set. I've never been able to go through and see every card in the entire set, like, all at once. We definitely going to need that Moonbryon. We're definitely going to need, I think we'll need that Dragonite. We're probably going to need that Rayquaza. We might need that Noivern. I don't even know what the prices are off the top of my head. A lot of these we probably won't actually need. But yeah, let me see if I can find the Moonbryon. There's the Moonbryon. There's the Alt VMAX Rayquaza. So there's a bunch from Evolving Skies that we can start to look at. Let's see. Wow, Dan poking Nat and getting wrecked was unprofessional of Nat. I mean, to have an emotional response over something, assuming I was going a place that I was not going, it was a little bit like, whatever. I was gonna do a video about this, so I turned it into a live instead. The collector app, yeah. So this is where I'll talk about it in my video that I do eventually make. All Pokedata, TCG Fish, So self-proclaimed spicy, and then people say red lights. People do it one way, and when you push back, like all the comments, 100 comments across an hour, and then one little pushback followed up by an immediate like, I watch every cardboard hands. People get sensitive. People get so sensitive. We want Dan off the fence. We want lights red, and then people get so offended. It is what it is. James appreciated it. Maz seemed to appreciate it. Whatever. I can't zing back, apparently. I just gotta sit here and take it, right? So yeah. What I wanted to talk about here. So the collector app, Pokedata, TCG Fish, none of them are 100% accurate. They never will be. There is a trade-off between speed and accuracy. I know this is close enough, or at least I think it is. Maybe I'm gonna get wrecked on this. Maybe I'll get wrecked on this because I thought collector was quick enough, and it's not actually. So I missed the Leafeon and the Glaceon. I missed the Sylveon. Let me grab those ones too while I'm in here. Or I guess I'm not in here anymore, but I'm gonna go back in here. So I need not the rainbow ones, but I need the Leafeon alt. I need the Glaceon alt. I need the Sylveon alt. I think I have the Rayquaza. I need that Espeon V. So there's the Espeon V. I need that Leafeon V. So there's the V alts, and then there's the VMAX alt. So there's my V alt. I'm not gonna grab the rainbows and stuff. Is it that big of a drop off? So according to this, there's no way this is right. Can it be? So it goes from a $900 Moonbryon, then it goes down, and And then you have, yeah, there's no way this is right. This is just skipping a ton, I think. It goes from the $81 Leafeon V alt art. I don't know if you guys can see this at all. I apologize. Collector does not have a way to bring it up on desktop, I don't think. So it goes from an $81 this to a 21-cent Zygarde. I think as I scrolled down and refreshed, it lost a bunch of stuff, unfortunately. So $80 is close enough. I think I have everything worth more than $80. My desk is so crowded right now. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to make space. But let's try to actually look at some of these. I'm gonna try to stay perpetually caught up on chat. So nice box of bulk. It's not optimal to sell as an entire set. So I always say it's not optimal to sell sets. I don't think I've ever said it's not optimal to buy whole sets. But as far as like me selling them, I'm gonna sell them at a discount. I'm not gonna be trying to get a premium for selling the entire like non special card sets. Not School Homes. I don't want to link nothing. I think we did get the link. We did get the link here from Peak Dachu. Appreciate you. The Burning Shadows Charizard is really ugly. If anyone has a request, obviously I have to start with Moonbreon because James just sold one for $16.50, and I'm gonna make this bigger now. Obviously I have to do the Moonbreon. That's my choice. If anyone has a choice of a set they want to see, feel free to let me know. Why is this not getting bigger? There we go. It's a little bit bigger. So if anyone has a request for what set they want to see, let me know. I don't think I'm gonna be able to show this well enough to show like how it will actually grade. There's no Kurt's Card Care in sight. I do not own it. I've never owned it, as I stated. A little bit risky doing a video where you talk about card altering and then you show cards, right? I thought it would be kind of fun. I had fun. I had fun for the first hour and a half of this live stream talking about card altering. I was hoping it would be more like actual progress towards like defining things, but that didn't happen. So it is what it is. I'm not surprised. So I'm wiping the card right now with my finger. I saw some dust. I wiped the dust off. That is kosher. No saliva, no spit. Probably a little bit of sweat. I wish I turned my fan a little bit higher. Getting a little bit fired up here. The card looks clean though. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm not seeing any white dots. Let me get it. I don't see any indents. Centering looks good. I think this Moonbreon is a 10. I'm quite confident the Moonbreon's a 10. I'm going to get that in the mail tomorrow, probably. I don't know if I'll be able to sell that eBay Vault 0%, but hopefully I can. Let's do the Ray VMAX next. I'm not going to make it through this whole collection, as I stated. So if you want to see the team up Latios, if you want to see the Burning Shadows Charizard, shout something out and I'll go to it. All Sun and Moon, all Sword and Shield. Don't be dumb. I almost definitely. We definitely have some dummies, myself included. I mean, look at the thumbnail. I am definitely a dummy with a lot of things. We definitely have dummies in the chat. I was not offended by being told to not be dumb. A lot of people that are being dumb, that are being antagonistic, to be fair, like say exactly what I said. A lot of people that use and think using Kurt's Card Care is fine would make the same argument that I like laid out there. Which it wasn't my intent, but Nat had no way of knowing that. Like, it wasn't an unreasonable exchange whatsoever. So this one, I would say thick right border, thick left border on the front, right border on the back. I think this is still well within 10, though. Looks really clean, not much whitening, if any. So I think there's 2 10s there. Garbodor V, big money. Dozens, LMAO, rip. Is this live stream an emotional response? What is emotion? I know nothing of this human emotion. I would say I could use the roast from Cardboard Hands because I could use people coming over, but I don't know how many people will come over. We'll see. I don't know what Mr. Walsh just linked here, but he linked something. Oh, did you guys see me unlock my phone? That's funny. I'll have to verify. Change your phone password, Dan. I appreciate you. I've had that phone swipe password for so long now. It's like a little dipper. I'm gonna have to change that now. Did I actually? I probably did. I probably did. Let me see. I'm not gonna be able to find it in my own live stream. But definitely before I go to a Collecticon, I am 100% going to have to, with all the snakes in chat, many of which will be at Collecticon, I am definitely going to have to password protect my phone. Logged into my eBay, logged into everything. Yeah, that is not ideal. I'm actually right at the point where I did it. Yeah, you saw my background and you saw my swipe, so rest in peace to that password. It's a Little Dipper. I've always used the Little Dipper. Let's see. Yes, that actually is what it is. Oh man. Dan, you trusted that app to price a 30K collection accurately? I definitely did a little bit of auditing. I went to TCG Player. I looked around. I threw together, like I exported the CSV. I started looking. It's close enough, I think. It's close enough. We'll see. We'll see, though. Question, is it optimal to stage vintage sets in old binders and make it look like you are selling gas, but everything is a PSA 3.5? People absolutely do that. I've never done that. I don't have like an alt eBay where I pawn that stuff off. I've heard people openly talk about that. To me, that's like too far. I don't really like that. But yeah, it as long as you don't lie, I guess it all comes down to like these are the moral, ethical gray areas. I don't know how well you guys can see like whitening and stuff, but this card is super clean on the back. I don't see any indents. If I do see like a raised edge, as far as I understand, I think you could put a card in a card saver. This one doesn't have one, but I think you could put a card in a card saver. And I think you could like do something like that, but I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I genuinely don't know. Nice thing about card quality, like these days, a lot of these it's not even relevant because the things are just 10s out of the pack, which is really nice. Dang, get a cloth, you're getting the blood of the homies all over the cards. Oh man, it came with all the promos. It came with the entire run. Like I've never held within my hands any entire run of promos, but it's literally the entire run of Sword and Shield promos, the entire run of Scarlet and Violet promos. So it's like all the alt art. There are some valuable later in here in the Sword and Shield promos, but it's literally every promo. Like this collection is so impressive. Such a cool collection to buy and to be able to see and handle. Like yeah, like there's some of the alts, V's and VMAXs from those boxes. Very hard to grade. But yeah, it's literally everything. Sword and Shield, everything, Sun and Moon. It's wild. It's the world promos, it's everything. Trying to make sure I don't disorganize all this too. You might not allow questions after this live. Definitely will. Always will. Is there any other questions you wish were asked? Let me, I actually forgot to have my notes. I had some notes on things I wanted to cover. It's just semantics. People will always test the line. I covered all that. We need a policy statement. We need a succinct, clear policy statement. We need something like this that we can all follow. And none of it's inherently right or wrong. Like trimming and inking, we've deemed to be okay. That is too far. I think I've never heard anyone defend trimming or inking. But in the middle, like there are things open. The coin restoration, the comic book pressing. And I talked about how for coins, I'm uncomfortable with what PCGS and NGC will do with coins. I talked about oil. I talked about light curls, putting it in a book, and is damaging a card fine? Like, I didn't see anyone really comment on that in chat, but like say this card was a 6. A play that's out there is to take it and just mangle it and turn it into a PSA 1, to alter its physical state to be much worse with intent to make more money. Is that kosher or is that not? Like, I don't know. I know a lot of people who've done it. I've definitely graded some PSA 1s, but I bought collections with cards that were destroyed, and I graded those. I don't think I ever folded any further to make them a PSA 1. Maybe I did though. Like I genuinely can't remember. And before Dan gets a new phone because he forgot his new password. I've actually been thinking for a long time, like all the crap that's on my phone, I should definitely have something more secure than the Little Dipper, to protect that. Big Dipper coding coming. Oh God, yeah. Let me Am I the Little Spoon? I mean, Little Spoon, Big Spoon, Fork. I'm here for all of it. Dan's next password is the Big Dipper. We had Basic and Reeks both on that. Altering raised dense is clean. I don't think there are staff promos. I'm not entirely sure if there are staff promos. That could be a miss. Giratina V and Latios, that's like 3K there if 10s. I looked at the Latios already. It should be a 10. The Burning Shadows Charizard is like $2,500 if it's a 10. I think I actually just sold one. I think I sold one for 23, 24. Definitely not a 10. I did look at that. It's very hard the way that I'm set up for me to look at the card and have you guys see it. But like, let me try to get through these ones quickly. The Leafeon V looks really nice. I think most of the Evolving Skies ones should be good. The only two I looked at before the stream last night were the Rayquaza VMAX and the Umbreon VMAX 215. So yeah, let me go through these fairly quickly. The centering is iffy on a couple, but like 60-40 for my taste, like 60-40 is pretty far off center. I don't think 60-40 looks good, and that's what you're allowed to have. So Sylveon's got. I just wiped my finger at the corner because there was a little white dot on the edge. It was just dust. But again, moving things with your finger, I think that's all fair and fine. I've always done that. Fresh out of pack, Watsy, Altarts, whatever. No whitening whatsoever. Like, these cards are really... I just put it in a sleeve. I shouldn't have put it in a sleeve. These things are beautiful, though. Like, I think these are all 10s. And I want to get these out, like, ASAP. I want to get these, if I could, some of the higher-end ones, get them done through the eBay vault at 0%. I would love to. PSA vault. I mean, Charlie Herlocker was actually on with Pokemon Wonder the other night. I think he talked a little bit about, like, the discounts that PSA offers. The whole discussion with PSA and PK earlier, with Nat and PSA earlier. If I could get rates with them, if I could get rates with the eBay, I don't know what's going to happen. My consignment information's below, and all that stuff is obviously in flux. This Noivern feels like it's OC enough that it's probably past 60-40. It's probably not going to. I've never used a centering tool. I always just eyeball it. I think that's pushing 60-40. That might not get a 10. But I feel like I send the Celebrations Charizard if it's that far OC, and most of them get 10s. The Rayquaza V looking really clean, looking really nice. And then the Dragonite V, the last one to finish up Evolving Skies. Any set requests, I'll go to your set next. Just let me know. Yeah, that Wonder interview with Charlie. Wonder is making some positivity now. Praising somebody who's not here after I've been assaulting everyone in the live chat with words, assaulting them with words. Wonder is making the best Pokemon content on YouTube right now. His deep dive into people's backgrounds and histories, bringing up relevant questions, personally, industry-wise, hobby-wise, whether you're collecting, business, whatever. Pokemon Wonder is putting out the best Pokemon content right now. Go check him out. Mods, please link him. I was on there in the very early days. I love, like, Charlie content, top tier always. I love getting to know people more. I love consuming Pokemon content. So when I see a Wonder live being scheduled, often I can't make them live, but always catch those afterwards. He is one that I have watched. I guess I haven't watched. He's done some like pack ripping live streams, some giveaway live streams. I was gonna say I've watched all of his content. I've watched all of his interview content at least. There's very few people I've watched like every second of content, but I've watched all his interview content definitely. Let's see. Wonder be like, your parents left you home alone when you were 12. Did you feel neglected because you were an unwanted pregnancy? He goes deep, but he doesn't get disrespectful. And when I say personal, it's like he doesn't get he doesn't get like that. I will say. Hard to keep firing shots when your magazine is empty. I don't own any clips. I own some with magazines though. Another actually moment. PK mentioned you and James owing him now. How do you plan to pay? James will surely be giving him the PK promo code for sure. One thing that I actually texted James this today, or not James, I texted PK this today. I'm like, PK, I got my, well, I don't have feelings, I'm a robot. If I were a human, my feelings would be hurt by the fact that you've been begging and begging publicly for a James affiliate code. Never once did he ask for an affiliate code for the Catch 'em All Collectibles eBay vault. I think he's more of an auction guy, so maybe this is just cope, me trying to explain it away, but he wouldn't use my service, hasn't used my service. If it was something that he'd use, maybe he would have asked for an affiliate code, but he never asked for one. Good thing he didn't, because like he probably would have had one by now, but it would be going defunct soon. So I guess he saved himself the heartbreak. I'm gonna go right to team up. These are fairly tight in here, but yeah, I want to see my Latias. Let me actually get the. I won't show you the background of my phone. I won't show you my phone password again. So team up. This is what we're after. So team up. We have Latias. We have the Gengar Mimikyu, Magikarp, Wailord, Eevee and Snorlax is over 100. The Rainbow over 100 raw. That's crazy to see. We got a couple waifus. Erica's Hospitality, Sabrina's Suggestion. Then we got Gengar, Mimikyu, Pikachu, Zekrom. So we actually need some trainers here, and we need some rainbows, which is a change up from Evolving Skies, which is cool to see. I haven't done a PSA send off video in so long. It's probably gonna take me. I probably won't finish it for a day or two. But once I get through all these, I might actually record a send off video because this is gonna be a pretty wild send off. So we need we're gonna go right to. I was gonna say I don't think we need both Gengar Mimikyus, but we actually do. One of them $70. I guess that's a little bit lower than I had said, but yeah, let's get our Latias. Let's get our Eevee Snorlax. Let's get our. Oh, we actually don't need that Eevee Snorlax, do we? I guess we don't need that Eevee Snorlax. So. That's kind of wild. So we need Jasmine. We need Sabrina and Erica. So Erica, Jasmine, Sabrina, and then rainbows we need Gengar, Mimikyu. Hopefully I'm on screen. Pikachu, Zekrom, Gengar, Mimikyu. Did I miss anything? The rainbow, Eevee Snorlax rainbow, I think. So I think I got everything there. I'll definitely be going through this, auditing it again, more in depth. But let me make sure I'm caught up with chat. Show me a world champion step. Yeah, this is not like... So some people will do the actually, as I did with water and spit, chemical. Some people will hit me with the actually. That's not a master set. A master set actually need the champion stamp. You need... And so this is like complete sets, everything you can pull from packs, I guess. So I creased... yeah. Is it allowed if you didn't mean to do it? I creased that CGC Vileplume that I was cracking, right? So... I'm in a lot of Discords. I'm in a lot of them. I have one that I keep behind a paywall. That is my most active Discord. But I'm in... Shout out Professor Oak's Discord. Professor Oak has a great free Discord. That is probably the most active free Discord that I'm in. So here we see... So yeah, this is not going to be gradable. So here we see a white dot. Nothing that rubbing your finger along with it is going to do. I would call this card near mint. Like, I think it's within condition that they said. But it's got issues on the back. Like, this is definitely not going to grade a 10. I don't know if you can see the issues. Got the white dot. Like, this is a non-grader. So the first big hitter of our non-grading pile. Let's check this. Let's go right to the... I'm pretty sure I looked at this quickly. And it looked good. It's a little bit off high-low. It's a little bit thin on the top, but I think it's within 60-40 still. Do this before I put the sleeve. Little bit of dust that I'm wiping off. Slight print line. So there's a slight print line on the back. I don't think there's anything you can do to get rid of that. I don't know if you can see it, but this might not be a 10. It's probably still worth grading in a 9. I'll have to see what the what the plus on that is. It's gonna be a lot to grade though, probably. But yeah, that's probably still worth grading in a 9, and it could get a 10. I mean, I've seen cards with a print line on the back that got a 10. Let's go Magikarp and Wailord. Why would someone pay more for a PSA 1 than a 6? Because the hobby. That's why. Marcus TMI. I forgot that I said that, but yeah, I didn't catch up with chat. Not getting squat after this live. Roast Wonder. Man is unroastable. Man is too... I can't say this about myself, and I can't say this about everyone in chat. There's probably some people that I can say this about in chat. There are Wonder, like the only interactions I've had with Wonder have been fully, wholly positive towards everyone. I guess he's had a couple little spicy questions here and there in some of his interviews. Little bit of like pot stirring type questions, but very, very great guy. Yeah, go check that out for sure. I didn't watch yours yet. Yours just happened, didn't it, or no? Where am I typing? I don't even know what screen I'm typing on. No, I did watch yours. When was yours? Yeah, yours was a month ago. I'm so bad. Like, I consume way too much Pokemon content. I can't remember which ones I listened to. But I definitely listened to that whole one. His whole live stream is like Red Bard, except for the giveaway. Wonder knew everything except my blood type. I was actually shook. I remember in yours, Peek that shoe. We found out you wore shoes indoors. So I remember a little tidbit we caught at the end. Do you guys think Nat will ever drink water the same now? Oh, man. Oh, that's funny. No wonder Mr. Walrus doesn't want to go on with Wonder. He doesn't want those skeletons out of his closet. Oh, God. I highlighted that comment before I saw the whole thing. Then got turned down by PK and dissed by Nat all in the same week. And I'm like the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th choice for the podcast that I'm on to. Did I look at that Magikarp Wailord? I don't even know if I looked at it. Let's look at this Gengar Mimikyu. Front looks good. Back has some surface issues. This is not gradable. I would say it's fine with near mint. It's got a little corner thing going on. It's fine with near mint, but it is not fine for grading. I'm not crazy about grading the rainbows anyways. I'm not crazy about rainbows in general. I'm definitely going to have some near mint, high-end near mint cards to sell on TCG Player, eBay, or wherever. TCG Player, store your products, maybe. Pikachu Zekrom Rainbow, not gradable. That one's got surface scratches going on in the back. Kurtz Card Care might do something with it, but I don't stray down that line. If any Kurtz Card Care users in the chat want to buy these at 75% TCG Player, just to get me a 5% profit on something, maybe it can handle some of these minor surface scratches on the back. But I'm not gonna go that route. I'll leave that meat on the bone for you. Next tax stream, I don't know. Not soon enough, whenever it is. How did that end? I actually watched the first little bit of that one, the OKJ Love, where it had like 7 people on screen. Dan don't pre-grade, but he's gonna pre-grade these cards 3 or 4 times. If I see that it's a high, like Celebrations Charizards, if I were to pack pull one of those, this one's really thin on the left, thick on the right, probably not gradable just for centering, and it has a couple white dots, so this one's definitely not gradable. If I pack pull it myself, or if I really know, like if I started going through this and I started seeing that everything was pack fresh, like he mentioned that he got some of these, he pack pulled a lot of these. I mean, given how hard it is to pull a lot of this, a lot of these he got off TCG Player. If I saw that everything was coming out minty, if I knew that he pack pulled all of it, I accidentally just spit when I talked, and the spit landed on the card, and I wiped the spit off. So this one's been spit wiped. If we're counting that altering. That one's not gradable. It has spit on it, so I can't grade it. No, it has some whitening at the bottom. Brock's Grit has some whitening at the top. Definitely not going to be a 10. Look at the schmutz on that card saver. Not card saver, penny sleeve. A lot of these team ups not gradable. Team up failed me. I assume the older the set is. I hate these side loading. I hate side loading penny sleeves. But it will not be surprising to see less of the sun and moon being gradable, just because one, it's older. Two, it's harder to grade than a lot of the alt arts, I think. That one looks gradable. That one looks fine. It may, like, I'm gonna grade it if it's borderline 9-10, especially if the 9 is not very penalizing. Right is really thin here, but back is good. I'll run that one. Again, I don't know how much value it provides when I show that. I don't know if it's showing anything. So these are got mine as Catch 'em All Collectibles Post-it notes. So this is my grade pile. This is my not grade pile. Mimikyu Gengar GX, a banger for sure. Yeah, the regular, not even the Altar. I like them both. So there's my grading and my not grading pile. I'll move those off screen. Dan doesn't respect his patrons, be warned. This is the most respectful chat in the hobby. Mods holding down the respect in here. Mods holding down the respect in the chat, but targeting all the disrespect right at the host, which is fine. It's fair. Yeah, I did see Zach over on the Whatnot auctions. Let's see. Dan highlights attacks on me. Doesn't respect his subscribers, his patrons, his mods. The tag pile. None of these will go to tag. I saw what they did for Greeny, so not a fan. Not a fan of soft 10s that Greeny wants in his collection. Hey, whatever you want to do with your cards once you own them, like that's yeah. I think it's fully valid to sell a card to somebody. What should I do next? What's the highest after the Gengar? The Burning Shadows is ugly. I could pull out the Burning Shadows Charizard, but like that is the next highest. So I've got the Latias. I've got the Moonbreon. I've got the Ray VMAX. We could go Hidden Fates. We could go Ultra Prism for the Lily. I guess I'll take out just singly. I'll take out the Charizard GX from Burning Shadows. It is ugly. This will show on screen. I'm confident. It is really, really bad. Here we go. So let me actually see if there's anything else from Burning Shadows to pull out too. I might as well. Burning Shadows. But I really like how you can just search. So the Acerola is $60. I guess we can take the Acerola. I'm not going to grade a Fairy Energy. I'm not going to grade a $36 Wick probably. So yeah, let me just get the Acerola and the Charizard. This Charizard is busted. This thing is like a PSA 6-7 probably. I don't think Kurt could save this one. Ooh, just because I see it here, Shining Legends shouting out at me. I'm gonna pull that one out too. So the Charizard, you guys will see this. If anyone wants to buy like a PSA 6 quality, this is not just from the pack. I don't think. Actually, as I say that, I had a trophy card. So I had a trophy card that graded a PSA 9 that had these weird, like, see how the edges stand out? It's a weird, like, fold over. The trophy card I had from 2019, I think it was the 2019 one. No, maybe it was the 2014 one. Anyways, same full textured style, but it looked like the edge was folded over all the way around. It almost looks like just literally whitening everywhere. Like there's whitening around the whole back of this card. I don't know if it's coming out or not. I think it kind of is there, but literally the whole out edge looks white. I had a card like that get a PSA 9. I might just send this one. Let me see what this card does in like PSA 8, 7. I might just grade it due to its value, due to Like getting the headache away, because I don't want someone to buy that near mint thinking they're gonna grade a PSA 10 and then turn it back on me. So let me look up PSA Burning Shadows Charizard 8. 350 in an 8? I think that's less than raw near mint, isn't it? Raw near mint according to this is 409. Let's see how accurate that is. TCG player, Pokemon. I kind of want to go by the set. Burning Shadows. Price high to low. Yeah, so according to this, well, there's some listings from $95. According to this, it looks like the near mint, last sold near mint is 360, 343. So this is one where there was one sale a month ago. It sold for 450. Most of the recent sales are like 350-ish. I paid 70% of 400. So I paid like 280 on 360, which is much higher than 70%. So I might get wrecked. It might come out to like, do not pay 70% of that might be the whole moral of my video when I do a recap on this. It might be like, do not pay 70% of collector. Maybe I'll get wrecked. Ace Roll looks good. I'll have to verify if it makes sense to grade if there's a good margin in 10, but I know this card is several $100s on PSA 10. I hate perfect fit sleeves. Some of them come out of the side. Some of them they do them upside down. This one is done right side up, but I hate getting cards out of. I always feel like it's gonna damage the card. Let's see what this looks like. Ooh, this card is busted on the back. This card is actually that's more like damaged. That's a big one to lose into the damaged pile. Now, can I take that and make it a PSA 1 to recoup some of my money? Probably not. But yeah, that's the first of our dreaded damaged pile. You don't love to see that. It had a couple like slight indents. Can I put it in a humidor and can I try to get that indents out? I don't want to buy anything treated with scientifically untested chemical treatments, but I imagine many sellers will refuse to disclose it. Hit me up on anything not gradable. I want net 30 though. I mean, some of these might be eBay Live inventory. Fully disclosed, condition they're in by whoever is streaming, myself or otherwise. We still got 53 watching. That's pretty decent. I'm probably not going to go too much after 1. I actually have other stuff I have to do before I go to bed tonight. But I did want to get a little bit of this audited. Yeah. Don't buy collections in perfect fit sleeves. It's all over the place though. Like some of them are in ETB sleeves, which are bad. Some of them are in where are we at here? Here we go. Some of them are in perfect fit sleeves, some are in regular penny sleeves, some are in deck sleeves. We've got every kind of sleeve here. Master set of sleeves included. You have your own branded. So when I was buying certain things, when I was buying my first t-shirt I made on now I use Stream Elements, but when I bought it on Vistaprint, I bought my business cards there. They got me. When you go to the checkout line, when you go to buy, they're like, hey, why don't you buy Post-it notes with your brand on it? Why don't you buy pens with your brand on it? Why don't you buy... I got my sticker for my pack weighing scale. Another controversial topic. But I added a bunch of those things to my cards. Yes, Dan is still alive. It's only been 2 hours and 18 minutes. What are we talking about? I love how Shiz basically got tag canceled. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough for tag. What's our next highest on collector? Lily from Ultra Prism. We could do the Giratina from Lost Origin. Let's do Lost Origin. Let me pull up on my phone. So again, just to see the whole Lost Origin set, like the amount of packs that had to be opened to pull all these. I know we're gonna need the Aerodactyl. Let's see if I can guess. I know we need that Tina. Any of these waifus we're gonna need. I don't know for sure. Will we need the Giratina Rainbow? I don't know. Is that over like 80? I genuinely don't know a lot of these cards. Like I'm not up to speed on a lot of these. I need to get better. I know these ones in PSA 10 are like less than $80. Some of these maybe CGC, like maybe I'll do something with them, but I'm right now first pass. I'm just targeting. I think that's like a $20 card or something. I'm just targeting like the 80 plus. I'm trying to get my first. Hey, we got Chef in the house. I'll see what it looks like. Probably send that one down to the chef himself. He too graciously sent me a fine bottle of Mountain Dew at my last visit to his establishment. So Giratina, she's pretty OC, pretty thick on the left, thin on the right, but it is beautiful otherwise. I'm gonna send it. Will it be 60/40? Will it be good enough? I don't know, but it is pristine on the back. Poke Chef, hit me up. Send me your address. Do you want I'm not gonna alter it, but do you want me to ink it? Do you want me to ink it with a very particular, I don't know what Chef goes for, but if you want me to do anything with that before I send it to you, or if you just want the cook card, I will send that to you for your for the hookup. Let me look up Lost Origin to see what else we need. Let's see how many I failed on getting. We got both those well above 100. The Pikachu VMAX is 50. That Pikachu V that I thought was 20-ish is 27. I'll probably take out the Pikachu VMAX because it's near 50. Since you don't check condition. So I did very quickly. I audited this collection by looking through randomly a couple different sets, like not the whole set, but most of it. I looked at the Giratina. I looked at the Burning Shadows Charizard. I knew that was going to be ugly. I looked at the Aerodactyl. I looked at the Giratina. I looked at the team up. Basically, I looked at a lot of these cards. Not the waifu. I looked at these two. I looked at that one. I looked at the Moonbreon. What did I move? Oh yeah, I already card savored these ones. I looked at all of Evolving Skies, which was all really good. Did I look through every single card in this collection before I ACH this guy $22,000? Absolutely not. Like it's not reasonable to do. A lot of this stuff will take me a long time to sell. This one is super minty. That Pikachu is probably gonna 10. Is it worth grading if it 10s? I don't know. I don't know why I card saver that one and not the other one. But yeah, Chef, DM me. Let's see how the cook looks. I guess it's a relevant card too because of the all the cooking that has gone on PK's live stream, and that looks minty. If you want it graded for you, I will grade it on your behalf. Let me know who you want it graded with. If you want it Dan signed, whatever you want. Chef, that card is yours. That one's set aside for you with your name on it. I did not watch the Tom Brady roast. I'll have to check it out. I'm a Jets fan. I do not like Tom Brady, but I understand he's good. 22K for damaged alts. Did we forget Evolving Skies? Did we forget? I mean, the Giratina is just OC. The Aerodactyl V is minty. The Latios is borderline. Evolving Skies, like, those should all be 10s. 22K, though. We got a long way to go. We got a real long way to go. Oh, if that's 130, 140, and a 10, that's an obvious grading candidate. I'm not required to personalize signatures per my contract, so sell your damaged bangers to Dan for 70%. It's easy. Get that card signed by Nat Turner, the real cook today. I knew something was coming on that front. So there is our Lost Origin. Let me see what is on deck right now. Damn, going hard trying to get a free ribeye off Chef. No, Chef has been way too gracious in the past. I'm trying to I owe him. I'm trying to catch up. I'm not trying to be owed. So we could pluck the Fusion Strike Gengar. We could pluck the Blaziken. I'll probably just pull like I kind of want to wrap up shortly after one, if not by one. That'll be 2.5 hours. So I'm gonna grab from Chilling Reign the Blaziken VMAX. Where's my Chilling? So let's get probably the Moltres too. We'll take the Moltres too. I'm trying to see if anything else stands out. I guess we can just look up chilling. It'll only take an extra 10 seconds. So I did pick the second highest one. So we got the Secret Snorlax. I didn't think there would be too many more. We got the Shadow Rider Calyrex. And probably the Ice Rider too. Nope. There's the Ice Rider. $40. I guess I'll go a little bit lower. Ice Rider, and then I'll take the Zapdos and the Articuno as well, just so we can have the whole bird trio. Where is Zapdos? We need a Zero Aura, didn't we too, or no? We can take that Zero Aura alt. That's real. I'm pushing down to 40 now after saying 70 or 80. What's that Celebi V? That Celebi V's nothing? Dang, some of these cards are cheap. Where's that Zapdos? There's the Zapdos. So we got enough from Chilling Reign. Let's do Fusion Strike really quickly. We're gonna get Fusion Strike. We need the Gengar. We need the Espeon naturally. It's just crazy. It's crazy. I'm probably doing it off screen, but it's crazy to flip through. Like, look at how many chase cards there are in this set. It's obscene that the sets are so big with how hard the cards are to pull. We probably need that Mew. Yes, we need that Mew. Well, $40. Again, I'm pushing it. I'm really pushing it. So we need that Celebi. We need that Mew. I'm going way lower than I said I would. We don't need that Mew. Need that Mew, that Espeon, we need that Gengar. Right in a row. There's our Fusion Strike. If we start seeing all 8s and 9s here, it's about to get real dark on this collection. We need 10s to save us here. We need 10s. We got a long way to go to 22K. Uh-oh, I see a deleted message. Thank you, Peak. Trying to be positive. How's the weight loss going? So I've been plateauing. I've been plateauing in the 235 to 238 range. That's pretty much what I've been seeing each week on the scale. I definitely need to, now that the weather's getting nice, I need to up my activity level. I did meet my goal of 240 by April 1st, end of Q1. But I've gotten lazy. I've definitely gotten lazy. So Gengar, that's a 10. You love to see that. You need to see that. That one's a clean 10 though. Centering looks really good. I really need to do something more. I need to either eat healthier, which I'm definitely open to. I need to eat a little more in moderation. When I eat chicken wings, I need to eat just 10 instead of 15. I think I used to eat 20, and then so far I've been eating 15. My new equilibrium weight, though, is like 235 to 238. So if I proceed forever into eternity as what I'm doing now, that looks like a 10 for sure. I will be 238, 235, 238 for the foreseeable future. As I age, though, and get slightly less active, that will just go up. So I need to become more active. I need to do something better. I want to be 220 by the end of the year. Maybe even 210, we'll see. The Mew is super clean. I apologize. I know I'm doing the bulk of this off screen. It's just really hard to get the angle of light good for me and good for you at the same time. But I think by the time this stream hits 1-ish, well, in like 2 minutes. This is funny. I owe Chef big. Chef, let me know if you want my autograph. It's probably like a $2 card. I mean, yeah, it's pretty dark, isn't it? The Jason Page strategy, as it was called in chat by who was that? Peak. Ray's loving it too. Let's see. Is this man's fortune sheer luck? Checking values and conditions after wiring. ACHing. 22K. Again, I audited several cards. I audited several cards. relatively reasonable sample size. And it's checking out exactly as it should. You got to start working out your bones going to crumble like feta. Hey, I drink a lot of milk. I've been roasted for drinking milk with dinner. I still don't understand that one. The whole, I take the roasting for the drinking milk. I am so lost. I understand nothing. At least in that one, like the whole cooking, I think people got way more out of it than was actually there. But like I fundamentally understand like the premise for it. The whole milk with dinner, like how that's the shoes thing, like me wearing, like look at how, look at this shirt. This thing's been through the wash 100 times. It's like falling apart. It's probably a 5-year-old, 10-year-old shirt. There are ways to burn me that I'll understand. The milk is not one of them. The milk I just don't get. Milk is a solid choice in beverage. Their aura, like pristine looking on the back, slightly OC but looks good. Milk makes me more thirsty. Then you drink Gatorade after. I had a nice milk with dinner. And then I have Gatorade to quench my thirst afterwards. Put up money to charity if you don't hit the goal. I thought about doing that. One thing I don't like about doing that is then I create an incentive for myself to be less charitable. So I do, like my household, my wife and I, we have certain things that we give to. We give certain amounts each year. And I'm all for charitable giving and all that. I would rather create a challenge where like the better I do, the more. Like almost I'm gonna donate X amount if I hit this. But then the issue with that is, oh well, Dan's a fatty who only got down to 215 because if he set a goal, if he had gotten down to 210, he said he was gonna donate $1,000 instead of 500. So Dan's a cheapskate fatty. Either way that you do it, tying it to charity, it just feels like an L. It feels like you lost too much, so now you're not donating, or you didn't lose enough, so you're not donating enough. Like it feels like a lose-lose. Dan is just roasting himself at this point, unarming the chat by doing our job by herself. What not 30k plus so far, Dan? Thoughts? Metazoo is saved. That's my thoughts. Metazoo never died. See, that's one thing, Walrus. I am fully on board with like certain pairings existing. When I'm eating chicken wings, part of the problem, two things that go really well with chicken wings: IPAs and sodas. When I'm eating chicken wings, it most frequently is paired with soda, I would say. I genuinely, like when I go to Collecticons, I get my money's worth. I will put back quite a few IPAs. On a normal week, I don't drink once. Like if I go out for a wing night with my buddies, I'll grab a couple beers. And then later on that night, I might hop on, play RuneScape, have some more beers. I might finish the night with a couple extra beers if I had them. So once I get going, I'll have them. But I probably drink on average not even one night a month. Like even in a year where I go to 5 Collecticons, I guess if you count each night at Collecticon, so I probably do drink like 12 to 15 times a year. Probably slightly more than once a month. Weddings, Collecticons, yeah, the Snorlax is a 10. Snorlax is super minty. But I'm not saying it as in like defending myself. Not that there's anything wrong with that. If you take it to an extreme, there's something wrong with that, obviously. But I don't, like I can't lose a bunch of weight by cutting out, like I can't just, I don't drink 3 beers a day or anything. I drink a handful. Instead of drinking 12 when I drink them, I probably should drink like 8 or 6 or whatever. I'm a big dude too, though. You got to know. As I lose weight, it should be more economical to get myself where I'm going with IPAs, right? But I think I'm gonna call it there relatively soon. I will keep up with chat, but it's one. I guess I can recap really quickly. So I will recap really quickly. The Darkness, that is the damaged pile, one of our biggest hit cards. Really love this card. Really would have loved for this to be a 10. Damaged on the back. Can I get you guys to see it? Yeah, you guys can see it. So there's a dent there. So right off the bat, can it be humidored? Can water be added? Water is fair game. genuine question. Could this card, could you put water there? Could you try to vacuum? Could you try to like high humidity, low humidity? I don't know. I've heard things. I've read things. I've never tried that. This card has more issues than that, above and beyond that little crease or indent or whatever. That card to me is being sold as damaged, probably on an eBay Live or something. Like it'll be disclosed and shown. These were not gradable, due to being like these cards are so cheap. I think sub 100. When you're sub 100 modern, especially, you really need to 10. So these might be 9. Some of these might be 9. Some of them were none of them were damaged. Otherwise, I would have put them in the damage pile. But yeah, these cards are like solid near mint. They'll go on eBay near mint. They'll go on eBay Live as near mint. They'll maybe they'll be TCG player listings. I don't know. And then these were all gradable. These were all, I wouldn't say they were all bulletproof 10s, but they're all gradable. So the higher the value, appreciate the subscription. So one thing I have going on, I don't know if anyone else uses Stream Elements. Normally, this under me, the subs should be dynamic. It should update as people subscribe. You actually just saw over here in my thing here, a subscription notification. I think one happened earlier too while I was ranting. But for whatever reason, Stream Elements, the dynamic like updating of my subs, it shows that I have like 1,000 subs. Per my YouTube metrics, I have 5,068 before I started the stream. So I manually had to type that in. That's not like a live updating number. I don't know why Stream Elements, my subscription count was broken. But like the higher value they were, the more I would have allowed them being a 9 or an 8. Like the Burning Shadows Charizard is an 8 at best, maybe a 9. I've probably graded my one trophy Pikachu had the same weird white edge back thing, and it graded a 9. So could be a 9, but should be an 8, maybe even a 7 wouldn't surprise me. But everything else, especially the cheaper ones, pretty much 10s. I think I did say there is probably like a 9. That one could be a 9, could be a 10. The Moonbreon, these ones all felt like lock 10s. Evolving Skies had really high print quality. But yeah, that's my grading pile as of now. Let's see how many cards I have. 1, 2. But 33 cards. 33 cards will not get me back $22,000. If all of these were to 10, I don't know how much it would be. It would be, I'd be over halfway back for sure, but all of these will not 10. I'm going to have to separate too. Like some of these are going to have to be done at a much higher tier. 350, I mean, that one's close to being fine in bulk. So a lot of these are actually fine in bulk. Sub 250 as a 10. Only some small amount will have to be like 250 plus, where I might get upcharged. I might need to do like 25. We'll see though. I will off stream obviously have to do a little bit of stuff to organize all this, but yeah, it was I genuinely had fun. A little bit of roasting, a little bit of strays being fired left and right. I feel like earlier people saying I got cooked. I thought I just caught a stray. I mean, nowhere was my intent in the line that it was taken. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I really like soda. Like I could give up alcohol. I'm not an alcoholic. I could give up soda. I don't do coffee or anything. I just don't like the taste. I could give up iced tea. The most common things that I drink in order are probably like iced tea. I probably drink iced tea more than anything. I'm bad. I don't like the taste of water. I've tried bottled water. I have well water. I like well water better than most bottled water. But it's just too plain. Sometimes I'll do water with a little bit of lemon. Often I'll do water with a little bit of lemon and a little bit of tea, like very dilute lemon iced tea. After iced tea, it's probably milk. It's probably milk more than soda, and then it's soda, and then it's beer. I would think. Definitely, how many times I drink it, how many days in a year I drink it. Soda is a lot more than beer. Quantity wise, though, there's never a day that I will drink 10 or 12 sodas. Never. The most sodas I'll drink in a day is like 2, maybe 3. I will drink 8 to 12 to, I don't even know. I mean, if I start drinking it, yeah. I can put away quite a few IPAs once I start going. Dan saying he's coming back to 8 while I'm on my 8th. Ouch, that hits home. I've gotten upcharged a bunch, yes. Thanks for not supporting my comments today. Glad I was here. I appreciate you. I know. I do need to grow up. I do not like water. Water is boring. Unsweet tea is life. A little bit of lemon. I just buy a thing of lemon juice. A little bit of lemon. I'm not buying like fresh lemons and stuff, but Coca-Cola, Mountain Dew. I genuinely like. I'm not addicted by any means, but I just don't want to give them up. If it ever gets to where like I'm battling with like, if I'm battling with weight and I need to, like, I will give up soda if I can't get down to 220. If I need to cut soda to get to 220, I would cut. I mean, the thing with me is I want what I want. I'll just do it in more moderation. Keep the beer, drop the soda. That's probably what I would do, but I'll just cut back on both and keep them both. I'll do it a little bit less. Brad just manufacturing drama, manufacturing things again. I'm cutting back to 8 beers is not a statement you want to hear. He sounds like a 70-year-old telling their war stories. I don't drink, but if I start drinking, I'll keep drinking. I think there's multiple different kinds of alcoholism, right? Like, there's the one where you need to drink it every day to function, and there are people that drink just like, I don't know what amount daily would qualify you for that, but there's also like binge alcoholism that I don't think I fall within that. But I definitely drink a lot when I drink sometimes, not all the time, but I'm not addicted to them. I can give them up, I swear, at any time. Yeah. Before we go too much further off the rails, I appreciate everyone watching. Genuinely, I had fun with the chat. I had fun with PK's chat earlier. I mean no harm to PSA, CGC, BGS. I genuinely am just at a loss for what we do on this whole thing. I think there's all the jokes about the nuance and this and that. Like, we live in the gray area. The most interesting debates. Like, I am one who actually really likes to debate. The most interesting debates are had in the gray area. And I think this is very important stuff in the hobby that we need to decide. Comics, they have it all sorted out. I don't think there's much controversy. I think they allow what they allow and they don't allow what they don't allow. Definitely, like, there's controversy with I'm not saying there's no controversy in it, but as far as like what's allowed, what's not allowed, I think they're a lot older and I think it's a lot more well established. So yeah, with all that, I'm going to sign off. I appreciate everyone. Thanks everyone. I will